Hello, welcome to today's stream. Today's stream is gonna be a chill one, kind of. Well, we kind of have to figure out who actually got rid of Ryoma in this particular instance, in this second case. So we're gonna have fun with that in just a little bit. Sorry for being a little bit late. I was at the throne. Yeah, that's the thing. I was at the throne and the traffic was a little bit too slow. You know what I mean? It's like the traffic was mighty slow. So yeah, that's kind of a thing. Too much information, perhaps, but it is what it is. So here's the thing, though. It kind of makes me realize a little bit that, like, the mind of the characters that we kind of paint in our worlds in the games that we kind of play. For example, with Himiko herself, she's kind of like for example, I kind of enjoyed her character design in particular, even although that we don't technically, like, how do I put it? Even though technically speaking, if you ask me that Himiko is like my preference to some degree, I'd be like, yeah, that's not my preferred character. If anything, it's far from it, to be honest with you. So it's kind of like this kind of thing where it's just like, yeah, well, Himiko is kind of an interesting character. Her personality outweighs my physical preferences to some degree, and because of that, it makes me prefer that character as a consequence, basically. So that's kind of the thing when it comes to, like, a lot of, like, mentality of how we actually, like, have a necessary understanding of our characters, of the characters that we watch, and we give preference to the ones that we kind of, like, feel the most adequate for our empathetic exercise, basically. I was like, that's kind of the thing a little bit that I kind of want to start the stream a little bit with. That it's kind of interesting because, like, in the world there seems to be a twist of emotions from time to time, and that twist of emotions is with the intent to not destroy the imagery of the aspirations of possibility. Basically, it's like to destroy what it could be possible to reach in one world is kind of like the end of the world in some shape or form, basically, if you think about it. Because it's like, if you're a fan of something, if you like, I'll give you the easiest example, right? Which is, if you like otaku culture, right? And suddenly, like, it's under threat and people are gonna be like, hey, we need to destroy it because it is not helping people whatsoever. What would you do in that situation if suddenly all of the otaku culture disappeared from one day to another one? And it's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of the thing, isn't it? It's like, I don't think a lot of people kind of realize how terrible certain things can be once they're gone, especially if you've gone through plenty of cycles that make you go through this kind of, like, unending chain of events, basically. And it's like, that is the essence of the individual. That is what it means to have an essence in some shape or form, basically, where we're like, if the world suddenly decides that a fragment of you is no longer possible in the world, it kind of becomes this kind of thing where it's just like, yeah, well, a fragment of me has been exterminated. It has been died. It has been dyed in red because it has been killed, really. And it's like, as a consequence, we end up with a lot of, like, cases of, like, absolute bloodthirsty individuals that are only looking for blood because, like, they have been stolen the things that they need in order for them to survive, basically. And it's kind of like, that is kind of like the thing when it comes to like societies and the progression of moral ideas, basically, that sometimes the progress of ethics and moral ideas do not adjust what reality is made of, if you actually think about it. And if you think about it, to some degree, that is the reason why we need more painkillers. Because like if you need more painkillers, then it means that there's something hurting you in the process. There's something causing you psychic pain inside of your head that you need something to assist you to carry on with your life, because the psychic pain is remaining within your mind. And why does psychic pain exist? Well, because a cycle that was continuous for a long time suddenly stops. And that is just that is specifically because like that is you. That was the food for your soul, for your mind in some shape or form, and that's what gave you life in some shape or form. And that is kind of like the thing where I want to emphasize, where like specifically, it isn't always necessarily a good thing to be to like to have a destructive moral and ethical standpoint, because at that point you're no longer being ethical or moral, even although that you're setting the bar higher or lower. What you're doing specifically is that you're putting disorder in a place that didn't have disorder before, really. And it's like that is kind of like the thing when it comes to like a lot of like this mental exercise of this kind of like psychic wounds basically that happen into the minds of people, because we kind of have to consider that it's like, okay, why do we suddenly have so many cases where we need more painkillers to go carry on with our day? Why do we need tobacco? Why do we need alcohol to alleviate our anguish? Why do we need a lot of like how do I put it? Why do we need psychic intervention from other entities for us to be reminded that the world is not a terrible place, or that it is a terrible place from case to case basically? It depends, because like sometimes there are people who are bitter and they just want to be angry basically. um so that's kind of the thing a little bit, where if you think about it from perspective to perspective, the modern world was too deep with psychic wounds inside of their brains, if you think about it. Because the ideas that kept getting shoved into people's minds did not adapt what the empirical evidence was showing in some degree, basically. It's like, that's kind of the thing. In my Spanish channel, I kind of like discuss this a little bit, where like a person who has their mind on the right side that doesn't like you will tell you to pay up enough money so that you give them the thing that they want to some level, right? It's kind of like, well, I have a business, right? I have a big business, the greatest business the world has ever seen, and you know, I kind of don't like you, really. So suddenly I'm going to price it up. I'm going to rank up the prices a little bit because I don't really like you. I don't really like your business. I don't really like your individuality or your ideas, because you seem to have a whole lot of nonsense about, I don't know, equality or something. And it's like, yeah, well, from that perspective, the business suddenly becomes a little bit more difficult to take place, and the person who has the money is like, okay, you want something that I own in order for me to give it to you? Okay, sure, but I'm going to sell it to you to the highest price possible, because like that's the only way that you're gonna get something out of me, basically. I need to get some benefit in the world. I need to be wealthy enough for me to kind of like have a counterattack to some shape or form, because like, even although that I'm selling it to you, I'm not necessarily too happy about it, because I don't necessarily like how you think exactly. And that's kind of the thing. And in the left side of things, it's always like, well, yeah, like, oh, that's great. We welcome everybody here. But at the same time, you kind of have to give everybody a piece of you. It's like you need to give a big contribution to our cause because, like, you're not too equal to everybody. So because you're not too equal, I'm gonna ask you to I don't know, be more equal to everybody else, right? Like you seem to be too above us or like below us to some level. So you must be more equal to us, right? You must adapt to our ideas, really. And it's like if you think about it, it's the same method to to be a blood sucking vampire and suck the life out of you in both methods, which aren't necessarily like the most like there are fragments of reality and there are different methods of getting things done. But if you actually do take it into the rational standpoint of the individual, it's always the individual what causes the price to go high or low. It is the individual to call you more equal than not. And when you actually look at it from that perspective, it just kind of becomes this kind of thing where it's just like, so ideologies are absolutely goddamn worthless. Most ideologies are goddamn worthless because they romanticize one fragment of reality that is not necessarily the entire reality to begin with. Because that is kind of the thing. It's like if you think about the modernity of things, the romanticization of certain aspects of the economy and human society, to some level, it is the cause of destruction. Not because people decided to romanticize it, but because they decided to weaponize that romanticization, basically. And if you think about it from that perspective, that is truly what is the essence of the individuals, basically, where where it doesn't really matter if you say that you're extreme of one side or the other. It doesn't really matter because at the end of the day, those extremes are there because somebody romanticized their purpose in society, basically. A banker romanticized that he is a banker, right? Because the banker romanticized he's a banker, he's going to use his power, right? To tell you that he's above everybody else because he decides what is right and what is wrong because he holds the currency of everything. The medic is going to romanticize its job and it's going to say, well, I have the power to determine if you live or not, if you get sick, obviously, or in other circumstances. I have the power to do so, right? And because of that, I am superior about everybody else. So you better watch your back to some level. And if you think about it from the military side, it's like, well, that's kind of a funny statement, medic and banker, because I'm the one who's actually holding weapons here, because I'm holding weapons. You better take care of yourselves because, like, if you get a little bit too crazy, I'm gonna shoot a bitch. Basically, I'm gonna motherfucking shoot a bitch, right? I was like, that's kind of the thing, and it continues and continues. It's like the the farmer is going to be like, well, I'm feeding everybody here. If nobody takes care of the food, I'm sorry, but everybody's gonna starve to death. I'm sorry. That's kind of a thing, really. So you better take care of like our people, like you don't really want to, kill our entire society out of starvation, right? Yeah. That's kind of funny that everybody says that because like I'm the supplier, right? And it's kind of like the same thing with the technocrat that is like, okay, well, I hold the entire logistics of the entire chain, so you better everybody calm the fuck down because like I can do whatever the fuck I want. If I can cut the supply chain, if I decide to do, if I decide to do so, because I am the logistics. Okay, like, calm the fuck down. That's kind of, it's kind of like exactly the same. Where like, it doesn't really matter when it comes to like ideologies. Ideologies are but the romanticization of what the individual is standing on. If he's standing in a golden stone, he's gonna call the golden stone of wisdom. If he's standing in a pink stone, he's gonna call it the pink stone of emotions on heart. It is going to be the sensual healing for towards men and women, right? If he's standing in a blue stone, he's gonna be like, well, I'm the authority, I'm the cold-minded, I'm the stability, I'm the stone of stability. And I am just as necessary as everybody else here. So you better settle down. And it's kind of, it is exactly that kind of thing where it's just like if you think how far certain societies have gone to go for painkillers 24/7, it speaks that there's a psychic wound inside of everybody's brains that needs to be taken care of in order for them to continue with their lives. And the reason why that there's such a high amount of highly self-destructive behavior is exactly for that same reason, that their empirical evidence does not match what the world is exactly telling them to behave as. So that is kind of like the thing when it comes to like the modernity of people, where they kind of need to be on highly medicated to pass their day, basically. If you look at it from certain perspectives, really, it's like, well, there's a reason for that. There's a reason why medicine is so expensive in a place. There's a reason why medicine is so expensive in another place. Why it's so much cheaper in other places, basically. There's a reason for that. And the reason is always people. Either the medic that thinks too highly of themselves, that they think that they have the authority over everybody else, or in an aspect of society that makes them behave in such a self-destructive manner that they need the most personalized care possible in that particular scenario, basically. And it's kind of like, when I actually think about it from that perspective, really, that is the thing that we're dealing with modern medicine, basically, because like globalism has made healthcare in some places very, very expensive. And the reason why that is, it's because it like you need enough psychological support, resources of medicine, the logistics, the supply chain for food. You need all these kind of things. And a lot of people don't want to contribute because they've been screwed over with this idea of freedom, being twisted in a psychic wound methodology, basically. And it just becomes this kind of thing where it's like, okay, so if that is the case, then it means that there is some level of truth, that the competition has not been the most honorable, the most honest, or the most truthful. And it's always a competition to see who suffers the most. It's a race to the bottom to some level, basically. It's it's a race to the bottom towards our own humanities, basically. And I believe that that is kind of like part of the reason why certain aspects of like certain cultures tend to make things mighty expensive, because even although that they are the ones who pull the strings on certain things and they have plenty of influence, and that makes them have a very, very expensive system, it also as a consequence makes them, I mean, as a consequence, it gives enough influence to other people so that they can get the right things that they want, basically. But it isn't necessarily efficient or cheap or fair to some level. It is not stable. It requires more medicine, more efficient um, painkillers to eliminate the psychic wounds that causes the body to not want to heal itself to some level. And it's like that is kind of like the thing when it comes to like the world that we live in as well. Because when people start talking about monopolies, right? It's like a lot of people are like, yeah, we hate monopolies. Monopolies are a terrible thing. But it's like the one on top is always going to be like, well, monopolies are a great thing, honestly, because I'm the one on top of it. And if monopolies are a great thing because they are great because I'm on top of everything, well, I'm going to be Monopoly Man, and I'm going to continue being a Monopoly Man because I can do so. Because nobody has told me anything about monopolies. Nobody has talked about monopolies. I'm the only one that is in favor of it, and I'm not going to talk about it because we all know what is happening. And it's like that is kind of like the psychological debate, basically, when it comes to like certain ideas, basically, where people get fighting to each other while monopolies get put in place because nobody is there to compete anymore. And if nobody is there to compete anymore, the likelihood to take radical measure against people become more and more likely because it becomes a, kind of this kind of game of, well, I need to get exactly the thing that I need to get, basically. I need to get exactly the thing that I need to get. Or I'm not respectful enough to get certain things, really. Or or maybe it's just like I don't want to reveal what is actually on the table, basically, because it's not convenient for me and my people, and so on and so on. So that's kind of the thing. And it's like when it comes to like modern medicine, I think that that is the thing that we're dealing with. It seems to be the problem. It seems to be the aspect that is making us go mad and crazy. Because let's face it, let's face reality by what it is, right? What kind of mad person would go promoting a camp of acceptance of everything and say that they're all equal? It's an extermination camp to some level. If you think about it, it is an extermination camp because you're telling that everybody thinks everybody is the same. You put them in a box. Okay, everybody is the same. Okay, psychologically, are they actually the same? No. But you tell them that they're the same. Okay, so what are they going to do? They're going to fight each other all the time because they say that they're the same, but psychologically they're not. And because they're psychologically different, the reality is it is the eternal fighting pit of nonsense, the eternal fighting pit of insanity where the insanity that they're saying does not adapt to the reality that we have on place. And it's like, and the systems and the world systems on this modernity are pushing for the agenda to make everybody equal with a different psychological formation. So if you look at it from that perspective, when you look at it from the perspective of modern medicine, are they actually trying? Is the modern man trying to heal us, or are they trying to make us fight each other to the death because we need to be equal? And because we need to be equal, we need to get a final agreement onto something, which means an eternal combat over what is the right thing to do for the flag of equality, basically. And it's like when you look at it from that perspective, it's like suddenly this kind of flag becomes the fighting pit of everything. It becomes the eternal fighting pit so until you get a final answer. And that also means psychologically destroying people in the process, basically. it means the psychological destruction of the individual until there's nothing left, basically, or until there's only one man standing or one woman standing, depending on what you're actually looking at it. So that's kind of the thing when I look at it from that perspective. Sometimes I like, if I look at it, the more that I look at it, the more silly it sounds. The more silly the idea of equality sounds, basically, the more stupid equality sounds. And it's like, yeah, well, it's again, it comes around with this kind of idea that it's better to think about standards of living rather than equality, because nobody's going to be the same. Nobody was born the same. Nobody has the exact same skills or the exact same looks or the exact same ideologies. There's going to be people who are going to be like mad scientists, and then there's going to be preservers of nature, basically. And it's like, when you look at it from that perspective, it's like it's impossible to be right about everything. It is literally impossible to be right about everything, especially in the world of society, of socializing. A world where everybody is right about socializing, and is a world where, uh, let's be honest, like, it's a world where every person has had a conversation with everybody in the entire world, and they have decided, and they all have all agreed to be in unity from having the same consensual agreement under the same standard, basically. And it's like, kind of like, that's kind of like the thing, really, if you think about it, that it becomes very, very difficult, and it becomes very, very unfair, because again, it's like, being equal does not mean fairness, actually. Like, a lot of people kind of have this misconception that being equal means that to be just and fair, when not really. No, actually, it is far from the truth. Actually, it is, being just and fair means to have to have enough room of manifestation for the individual to reach their own personal goals and their own personal individuality in a fruitful manner, without having to derange other individuals in the process, basically. It's like, if you can construct the individual in a high enough level, right, then you can actually be just and fair, because even though that maybe it does derange another person as a consequence, it's inevitable. So if the deranged person gets deranged because another person got risen up, then maybe what we need to start teaching people is respect to other people, rather than actually teaching people equality, basically. Because if we teach people equality, nothing is ever going to get done. Nothing will ever get done in the history of ever. Like, fucking nothing. There will be no place for individuals in and society to live within their own personal purpose, basically. And that's kind of the thing, a little bit. It's like, I think that technocrats thought that AI would be the ultimate solution to everything, because AI will personally, like, will be the algorithm that will arrange people on the right track to get the right answers towards the right solutions, basically. And it's like, yeah, to some level it does, but not really exactly as you think that it will. Because a lot of the times, you kind of have to, like, look at the fair and just aspect of things, where the logistics suddenly decide everything that is going to happen, basically. And can you say that because you are the one who's that the AI that you programmed is going to take the shots, then you are the righteous judge of the entire world? And it's like, to some level, we really cannot agree with that, absolutely. But, like, I think that it would be silly and stupid to agree with that, because now we're talking about who is the rightful technocrat to do everything else, really. Who is the technocrat that is clever, that has the authority over everything? And if it's only one, how can you claim that it is fair if you know that there's going to be some personal preference over the people that they kind of enjoy having or what they don't enjoy having? Basically, it's like the rightful winner of the technocratic war will say that Mexicans are the goddamn that need to be that there needs to be a genocide of Mexicans, and the world will agree because the technocrat himself said so. And if you look at it from that perspective, do you think that that is the right thing to do? Do you think that is fair and just? And it's like, no, I don't think it is, actually. Do you think that it is fair? Nah. the same way that if a technocrat that didn't like Asian people told them, "Hey, I don't like Asian people, so they can fuck off," and it's like, okay, and it's like, yeah, suddenly their own algorithm is like, yeah, give less preference to Asians, kill Asians, put them in a camp, shoot them in the back of the head because they have no souls or whatever, right? That's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit, where it is not advisable to have one individual that deals with what is fair and just, basically. It becomes an absolute mayhem if you put it on the peak of everything. And yeah, you can have a representative, but at the end of the day, you need multiple representatives to get something going specifically. And even then, it's still a logistical nightmare from time to time. So yeah, that's kind of the thing. It's like, to some level, I kind of have to. I kind of have to be like the right medicine for the right person. Basically, you don't. If you start looking at the world in different eyes, you will never get to the bottom of everything. You will never handle life in a fair way or in a just way. You will just lead people towards self destruction at that point. It's like, yeah, it takes a lot of experience to get into that kind of mindset because the internet has been engineered around putting fences onto people so that they don't kill each other when they have different ideas, basically. And that's kind of the thing a little bit. That's kind of like the whole idea of how the world has been engineered to some level. So yeah, it's kind of like a difficult thing, if I'm honest with you. It's not an exactly a very pleasant thing. It is not a very satisfying thing to get the ultimate answer of everything. But yeah, it's like, I don't know how to put it, but I think we all know that we most people don't have the time to philosophize about what is the right thing to do, basically. Most people don't. Most people are too busy raising their kids. Well, quote unquote raising their kids, because I've seen so many parents like actually put up tablets to basically, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, I've seen so many goddamn people like be that kind of person and be like, yeah, yeah, dude. It's kind of weird specifically. Uh yeah, it's kind of weird if I look at it from some perspectives, really. Give me a second, actually. Let's see. God damn it. Yeah, to some level, it's just like, I mean, I kind of have to be a little bit understanding that, like the psychological cycles to get the right people on the right track, basically. It, like, I get to some level that you need some certain level of like trust to get things going in a respectful manner, basically. And that's kind of the thing, really. It's like, what is respect to your society, really? It's like I kind of have to be a little bit honest with you, basically. It's like in the Japanese. Okay, like I'm gonna start with like the thing about the Japanese circle, basically, a little bit. That is like Japanese people respect other people by not interacting with each other. You know what I mean? It's kind of weird, actually. Like I didn't realize this until like now, basically. That is like I think the reason why Japanese people are the way that they are, it's because socially they are very fucking needy, actually. Like I didn't realize this until like very recently, actually. But it's like it's very likely that the Japanese genetics, really, they probably have some level of social attachment, so much so that they mention it within their language about, you know, that yoroshiku onegaishimasu, which is kind of like, yeah, I'm entrusting you to some level, to take care of my individual onto yourself, basically. And it's like, if you think about it from some perspectives, really, when I think about it biologically, specifically speaking, it's like it's very, very fucking likely, right? That Japanese people are just built very differently and very socially dependent on one another to kind of like get their society going on some shape or form, basically. Because that gives them peace and harmony to know that their psychological circles are going to remain the same if we keep reinforcing that idea, basically. And it's like when I look at it from that perspective as well, I kind of have to understand that it's like Japan has been like very global to some level. At least to some psychological level, it has been global. Not so much on a hands-on kind of thing, because like I think that they are very aware, and also like the world pressures them too much to keep themselves the way that they are, basically. Like, like you know what it is? It's like, funnily enough, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. The world loves Japan so much that they pressure them to stay the same constantly, while other countries are bombarded with different psychological waves because they think more about the side of rationality rather than the side of authenticity and flavor, basically. And it's like if you think about it from perspective to one another and the levels of essence and the preferences and the influence that some people have towards each other, the Japanese individual suddenly has to keep the mask of being a Japanese that to keep a Japanese essence to themselves for the fear of them causing psychological damage to individuals who see them different than a flavorful Japanese person. So it's like it's kind of like this kind of like idea where I mean I'm gonna bring up Legacy of Kain to some degree again, you know, where like there's this character in Legacy of the Kain Defiance, which is Turel, right? He's like a blind vampire that is like super muscular, but he cannot get out of the pit because he gets like praised as a god within his own like small pit of hell, basically. And it's like, yeah, the devout servants, the devout servants, feed him sacrifices and call him to be a god because he is the one who brings like essence to amenities to that place, basically. But it's like in some shape or form, Turel, he's stuck in there. He's stuck in the basement of the cathedral. Avernus Cathedral, something like that, basically. Because he's like, yeah, well, I'm very strong within my own right. I'm kind of blind. I have gone blind a little bit because besides being a vampire, I'm kind of like stuck in a pit, being fed sacrifices for me to keep my own people kind of like at bay. And it's like, yeah, they treat me like a god, but at the same time, I'm kind of stuck in a hole because of it. And it's like, I see Japan as Turel, unironically. Like Turel, like Japan is the Turel of countries. Like Turel is just like stuck there, giving psychic energy to the entire world, knowing that Japan is Japan, and because Japan hasn't changed, they must preserve their essence, and because they must preserve their essence, they kind of force this kind of idea onto the rest of the countries that is like, yeah, well, we kind of have to keep our essence because that brings us money, that brings us purpose of existence, so we kind of have to keep being as Japanese as possible, even if that means that for the individual Japanese person who has gone into the internet, into the global scale, is kind of stuck psychologically in their own room, becoming a hikikomori because they wished that they were a part of another social circle to begin with. Unironically. And it's like, do I think that every single Japanese person wants to be an otaku? And it's like, probably not, actually. There's probably plenty of Japanese person who are probably different and probably had the enough money to migrate somewhere else. I mean, it's like, yeah, there are some Japanese people who have migrated to Brazil, some to Mexico, actually. Very rarely, but they do. I mean, yeah, there's Japanese companies over here, basically. And same in America, basically. Same in like other places. And because they're shy by nature, there's like a little bit more difficult to spot from country to country, basically. And that's kind of the thing, really. It's like, I think that because Japan is the Turel of the entire world, a lot of the people who are in love with the country and the culture and the conservatives of Japan are always going to be in a good position as long as Japanese remains the loved country of the world, basically. Well, compared to that, England kind of became this kind of if you think about it psychologically, England became the Raziel of countries, basically. The Raziel, and he got thrown into the pit, burned until there was nothing left, and he had to end up coming out of the hole and just being like, yeah, well, I'm worthy enough because I have took enough damage for me to get things into control and get things going again, because like I kind of have to. Like I literally have to, like otherwise I kind of die. My society dies as a consequence, really. So it's kind of like, yeah, like to some level, we are witnessing exactly this the psychological problem of humanity at this very moment. Basically, we're like every single country to some level is being put to the test over how flavorful and necessary their culture is to the entire world. And it's like to some level Japan is at the top of the food chain when it comes to like cultural behavior, or like for like the mental health state of the world, basically, where they kind of have to be like, yeah, well, we kind of need Japan to remain the same because that gives us hope that there's a place that we can go to when things get too shitty, basically. And it's like to some level Japan is kind of stuck being a prostitute as well, because it's kind of like a psychological prostitute as well, if you think about it. Like it's a sad thing to think about, But Japan, while being very hospitable and being very serviceful, it is also a prostitute of the entire world for them to kind of like regain their psychic energy to some level, if you think about it. And it's like, I don't think that all Japanese want to be exactly the prostitute of the entire world. Like, I think that that is not a very nice feeling for a Japanese person who wants to be free within their own individuality, really. Because if you think about it, the Japanese woman is forever stuck into being a flavorful dish for the entire world, basically. And it's like, does a Japanese woman want to be a flavorful dish for the entire world? Or does she want to find the love of her life, whatever that may mean, basically? And it's like, yeah, the Japanese woman probably wants to find the love of their life, regardless of what the world wants them to think. And regardless if she doesn't want to be the prostitute of like somebody else, basically. And that's kind of the thing, if you think about it from that perspective, where like, sadly, if you think about it, Japan needs to have some level of freedom onto their own individuals so that they can actually exert what they actually truly want, while at the same time preserving the very essence that makes the entire world attracted to them and keep their psychic energy into a full like meter, basically. So it's like, yeah, to some degree, if you think about it, I kind of understand why Japan had a lot of like deaths by overwork, really, because from the looks of it, it's just like Japan is the cycle. It's a psychological, it's a psychic peak for all of humanity, but also all its sins and all its ugly faces, basically. So that's kind of the thing a little bit. I mean, Mexico is kind of similar to some level, because we sometimes Mexico is like the country that gets blamed for a lot of bullshit. Basically, the same way that America gets blamed for a lot of bullshit. And yeah, let's not even begin with the British Empire. Like, the British Empire got blamed for plenty of things, basically. But it's just like, yeah, within our own social circles, we kind of have this kind of like, we are humanity's blame game circles, basically, where it's like, oh yeah, no, it's kind of your fault. No, it's kind of your fault. No, it's kind of your fault. Okay, Mexicans suck. Okay, Americans suck. Okay, British people suck. Okay, I guess Japanese people suck. And they actually suck very good. And it's like, that's kind of the thing a little bit. If you think about it, and China, well, China is also another one of those where I feel like, okay, let's put it from this perspective. Like China, Russia, Japan, Mexico, Brazil, India, America. Canada is like, yeah, he's like 0 to the left, you know, but like, kind of like, yeah, well, I mean, they're too busy saying sorry to each other sometimes, but yeah. And it's like, I don't know, it's probably like a peaceful place for a lot of people. But yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit. If you look at it from some perspectives, it's like, yeah, it's like every country in modernity that is put into blast to be the blame game are the ones who get put in check to be the most flavorful to their own circles as possible, because we keep the mental sanity of the world in check over the options that they can have in the entire world, basically. And it is kind of like that, basically, that we're like it's not exactly like a nice thing, really, but like psychologically we kind of have to get, like, I'm gonna be Prometheus giving humanity a little bit of fire, basically, and I'm gonna get my guts poked out at some point in the future. I can almost guarantee it. But I'm gonna be the Prometheus of humanity for like for just a couple of seconds, and be like, that is kind of why it is necessary to have more people with character taking action onto the society that they feel that they psychologically belong to. Basically, it's like I kind like sometimes being the big fish in the small tank is not logistically and mentally a good thing. Basically, it is not a good thing for humanity to being the big fish in a small tank all the time. Sometimes you do need fishes inside of the tank. You need an ecosystem of fishes that clean the tank, that kind of like make the tank a more livable place to some level. And it's like that's kind of the thing, really, if you think about it. It's like we can't. A lot of men and women of righteousness, we kind of have to be a little bit. We kind of have to be have enough character to be like, psychologically speaking, we need pillars. We need pillars of foundation for our communities, right? Because we need pillars of foundation to our communities. We need to get the right people on the right case. Really, we need the right psychic energy, the right psychic healing energy on the right person. Really, we need to. We really cannot have like people be too dependent on certain things, and sometimes they do need a little bit of character for themselves from time to time, basically. So yeah, like even if it means that I'm gonna get hurt at some point, it's just like I've already accepted that if I have to be Prometheus and give fire to humanity from time to time, I have to, basically. God damn it. Yeah. Yeah. But it's like, again, it's like I am not eternally Prometheus to some level. I'm not going to be the eternal Prometheus. I'm not going to be. From time to time I may be the accidental Grim Reaper. From time to time I may be the accidental healer, the priest of that heal, the loving father that heals everything. From time to time I'm going to be Prometheus, and I'm going to give the fire to the people so they can become themselves and be individuals. From time to time I'm going to be the jealous lover because I'm a human being. From time to time I'm going to be the righteous lover. From time to time I'm going to be exactly all those things. And it's kind of the thing when it comes to like, what is the most loving thing to do as a person, really, sometimes. And it is, and I want to end this kind of like this conversation with this kind of thing, where it's like, what is the most loving thing that you as an individual can do to the people that you care about? And it's like, you kind of have to manifest your psychic energy by who you are and stand on it. You have to stand up for your own individuality and your own fire, and keep it up, keep that fire lit. You need to keep that fire lit in order for other people to realize that it is kind of necessary. To realize that it is kind of a necessary thing for your community to be kept afloat, basically. And yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit. It's like, to some level, I know for a fact inside of me, I know for a fact that inside of me, it's going to eat me at some point. Most fucking likely it is going to do that, but it is what it is, basically. It is tough. It is very difficult, but it is what it is, basically. Anyway, let's start the game. to some level, I kind of understand Frank Sinatra's song that is like, of my way. Suddenly, I kind of get it a little bit more. I've been a pauper, a pirate, a pawn, and a king, something like that. It's always you sometimes have to take personas depending on what the person needs at the particular given time, basically. But that's just because that's who I am. That's kind of like I'm the like I consider myself as a healer of some shape, in some shape or form, basically. It's like I'm such a healer that I kind of decided to become a warrior and a hero to some level. I was like, yeah, that is kind of sometimes a necessary thing to do, really. Okay, cool. Let's go. Okay. God damn it. Okay, burp. Burp. Okay, cool. Okay, awesome. Investigation. So it really is going to start again. I can't believe it. One of us killed Ryoma. Someone among us. No more. Go to no one investigate friends. No one to suspect friends. Then don't do it. I'm not going to investigate either. Huh? You'll be fine if you're short a person, and I doubt a child caregiver would be much help. That's a little bit weird, but okay. I tried to stop her, but Maki didn't even turn around and keep walking. The fuck is that bitch's problem? She's seriously not gonna investigate? That seems rather irresponsible. She likely assumes someone else will take care of it, and I suppose she isn't wrong. But why would she say that now? She participated in the Rantero's investigation. Although I suppose Maki has been acting strange lately. I've been told she spends all day in her lab. What is she doing in there? Well, I have a talk with Maki later. For now, we should start investigating. I'm seriously pissed we gotta do this, but it's our only chance to survive. Yep, I'll do my very best too. Ganta and I have to work especially hard so we can regain everybody's trust. Oh, yes, you're right. But we don't even need to investigate. It's pretty obvious who the culprit is. What? Ryoma was murdered during a certain little magical girl show, right? Yeah. So I think we need to be a little bit more suspicious of that little magical girl. Not Himiko. I mean, she's prime suspect actually, so yeah, probably. But she's so suspicious that it seems not suspicious. Okay. But then again, she's made herself look not suspicious, so now she's super suspicious. Please, shut up already! How dare you toy with Himiko's pure heart? You just say Himiko, didn't you? But I never mentioned her name. Ah, shut up, shut up. Himiko would never do something like that. Oh wait, that's not her voice. Himiko would never do something like that. I know her best, right? I know her best, right, Himiko? No. This is the part where you agree with me. Fucking okay, yeah. Himiko, you can at least tell us the trick behind the underwater escape act. If we know how the trick works, we can try to figure out how the culprit killed. That's not possible. Not possible? Why not? There's no trick in the underwater escape. It was my magic. How long is that donkey-lipped midget gonna keep saying that? You know what's kind of funny, actually? It's like, the more that I kind of see Miu, the more I'm like, yeah, her psychology kind of says that she's like way too open. Like she's basically engineering everything to some level. Like, she's too open about certain things. She puts her body to be the tool of action to some level. It's like she's a very, how do I put it? Like a very resourceful person in every sense of the word. And that is a little bit scary, actually. That's a little bit scary. While Tsumugi is just like too reserved, basically. Kimiko, in order for us to find the culprit, it's plain to see we need your help. Yeah, my answer won't change, no matter what you say. There's no trick to my magic, because it's magic. How long are you gonna keep that bullshit up? Listen, if we don't catch the culprit, we... That's enough. If Himiko says it's magic, then it's magic. I'll use my Neo Aikido to obliterate any degenerate male who bullies Himiko. Bully her? It's her fault she's being so stubborn. Well, it's fine if you don't want to tell us. I'll just find out myself. Actually, that sounds pretty fun. To solve this mystery, we must first learn the trick behind Himiko's underwater escape pad. We have no choice in the matter. Okay. He's right, we have no choice. We have no choice but to find the culprit who killed Ryoma. This investigation is to save all of our lives because we're risking our lives in a class trial. Okay. Sure. Okay. Hey, Shuichi, you got a sec? Hmm? What's going on? Before we start the investigation, there's something I gotta tell you. You're my sidekick from now on. Okay, that's interesting. Your sidekick? I'm more of a scientist kind of guy, so I'm not really cut for investigations. Poor Kaito, but whatever. That's a good quality to have for an investigation. Plus, the only stage fit for Kaito Momoto, or maybe he's suspicious. Luminary of the stars is the universe itself. So I'll leave the details to you. Pave the path for my success. But I don't know what to do as a sidekick. Don't worry about it. I'll make all the tough calls. You just gotta do what I say. Okay, that's kind of weird. He loves to make decisions on his own, doesn't he? So, I'll take full responsibility since you're my sidekick. There's nothing to worry about. Huh? Alright, let's get started. First, we gotta check the Monokuma file. Yes, right. Kaito making me his sidekick. Like this, could it be? I'm scared. I try hard not to be, but I'm scared. Can't stop thinking about the pain and sadness that comes if I reveal the truth. That's what I'm afraid of. Is he trying to help me? Hey, what's the matter? Let's check the Monokuma file already. Right. At Kaito's behest, I looked over the Monokuma file. Okay. The victim is Ryoma Hoshi, the ultimate tennis pro. Something about stars, basically. Okay. The body was discovered in the gym. The cause of death was drowning. His body was consumed by piranhas until only bones remained. No other injuries can be confirmed at this time. Okay. What? There's less written here than before. I've got a bad feeling about this. The time of death isn't written here. Hmm? The previous Monokuma file indicated Ranthar's time of death, correct? Their victim is Ranthar Amami. It doesn't say what his ultimate talent is. The victim's body was discovered in the library. The estimated time of death is 9:10 p.m. The victim was subjected to blunt force trauma to the back of the skull, resulting in cranial fractures and immediate death. No other injuries were detected. Okay. But the Monokuma file this time doesn't indicate a time of death. Did Monokuma mess up? No, this was intentional. Monokuma told us that he wouldn't give us any information that would reveal the culprit. Thinking about it that way, it implies that the information would be damning evidence for the culprit. That means the key to this case is the time of death. Ha! There we go. I knew I picked a good sidekick. There's one more thing in the Monokuma files that catches my eye. Ryoma's cause of death. It says drowning, but if that's the case, we might be able to unravel the case from there. Monokuma File 2 has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your monopad. Alright, now that we're done with the Monokuma file, we can get started on the investigation. The first command to my new sidekick is investigate everywhere and find clues that will lead us to the culprit. He's pretty commanding as I expected. Okay, cool. Yeah, my magic was supposed to make everybody smile. Don't worry, everybody is smiling. Okay, yeah, sure, you can say that. I don't think any of us can smile right now. Kimiko, if it's alright, are you ready to talk about your underwater... I was about to say your underwear escape trick. No, your underwater escape trick. We need to understand how your trick works if we're going to solve this mystery. There's no trick to my underwater escape act. It was magic. You're still saying that? Do you understand the situation we're in? No matter how much you guys threaten me, my answer won't change. It was magic. But okay, your time's up. The Q&A session is now over. Unless you want to feel the full volcanic wrath of my new Aikido. Man, this guard is more strict than the security at idle events. Okay, cool. Okay. It's a large water tank from the escape trick. The glass is broken. It's in bad shape. Do you guys really need to break the glass? Everything's soaked now. Well, if we had left Ryuma's body there, we wouldn't have been able to investigate. I guess it would have been taking too long to just empty the whole tank with a bucket. It was a lot of cleanup, but at least we can investigate the tank now. There might be a clue around here. I should take a closer look. Yeah, you're right. Because we broke the glass, there isn't much of anything left in the tank. But I should investigate the area thoroughly. There's bound to be something. Handcuffs. Why are there handcuffs here? Still locked, and there are small scratches on them. The cuffs appear to be stainless steel, so not too hard to scratch. They must have been scraping against something hard or sharp. Where are those handcuffs? Were they in the tank? But I've never seen handcuffs in the warehouse. Where did they come from? That's true, there weren't any in the warehouse, so where did they come from? If they weren't in the warehouse, another place that might have handcuffs is... Could it be he's a prisoner? Ryuma's lab wasn't just for the ultimate tennis pro, but also for the ultimate prisoner? What? So perhaps some element of that was in his lab as well. That's interesting. Okay. There's a square of pane. There's a square pane of glass at the bottom of the water tank. It doesn't look like a broken piece. The other fragments are far more random than this. It's literally impossible for the broken water tank to produce such a perfect square of glass. Then what exactly is this pane? Square glass pane has been added to the Truth Bullet section of your monopad. Okay. Ryuma's body is nothing more than a skeleton now, not even a shadow of what he was. What the hell is this? Hey, is this really Ryuma? Didn't see the moment it happened, so I can't believe it. I'm certain of it. Everybody watching the show witnessed it. We saw Ryoma become nothing but bones. I can't believe he died in such a gruesome way. The water filled with blood so fast, we didn't see the whole thing, thankfully. But this skeleton is unmistakably Ryoma's. Jeez, I know he wanted to die, but he didn't have to actually go and do it. No, I don't think that's right, Kaito. Ryoma wasn't trying to die, he said as much. He was jealous of us, who wanted to live. Huh? What do you mean he was jealous? Yeah, well, he became a prisoner, and his entire life he was like, yeah, dude, I wish that I didn't have, like, kind of like some burden on top of me anymore, basically. So it's like, yeah, to some level, he wanted to be as free as everybody else. Whereas, like, we kind of have to psychoanalyze Ryoma as to, like, having some level of frustration that he cannot be a tennis pro anymore, basically. That's basically why the reason he offered himself as a sacrifice to some level. Because he was like, yeah, well, the purpose of my existence is tennis, but I can no longer be a tennis pro, so what's the fucking point of living at that point, really? It's like, if you look at it from that perspective, that speaks of a psychological wound that was yet to be fixed, and that will never be fixed because nobody took the time and care to heal him, basically. And that's what I mean, basically, when it comes to like a lot of like when it comes to like the cruelty of the modern world, that they observe psychological wounds onto people and they don't care to cure them in the right medicine, because the right medicine is such a complicated thing to get sometimes, basically. So to some level, that's kind of the thing a little bit, where the right medicine to get people back on track has to be sometimes a little bit easier to obtain in a psychological sense, basically. And it's like, that's kind of like the whole point of like not forcing too many bizarre, like, I don't know how to put it. To some level, I kind of understand why people wanted equality to some level, because it allows the society to have more medicine through empathy, but at the same time it was also causing psychological damage onto people by trying to force new medicine to be developed. So it's like, yeah, but to such level to have a mass scale psychological like shutdown of a specific like individual, of a specific country or region, is not worth it just to heal a couple of people, if you think about it. It's a very noble attempt, or it can be a very, very, like, filthy maneuver, coded as a noble attempt. But it's like, yeah, it doesn't really work exactly as we think that it is, and it's more of a matter of it's not an outbreak. You don't have to force a viral infection onto people to make them strong. At least I don't think. Maybe not. Who knows? I'm positive that Ryoma wanted to join us. That's why he needed a reason to live, so that he could have the same feelings we do, so that he could have the reason to keep going, to fight alongside us. Then he was a real idiot. Who cares if you don't have a reason to live? Can't your reason for living be something simple like good food or your friends? And it's like, that's kind of the thing about psychological injuries. Is like, psychological injuries can have layers on top of them. It's not always like a right. The curation isn't always like straightforward. You kind of need to take it a piece by piece, basically. It's like, yeah, it can be attached to a person, or it can be attached to a system as well. It can be a little bit of both, even. And it's like, when it comes to like a psychological desire to be a part of something, and also keep a very close bond along with it, it becomes very clear that that the curation needs a bigger layer on top of it. Basically, in the curation, it needs like, for example, like if the psychic injury, in order for curing the psychic injury, you kind of need to go through some level of acceptance and recode what was actually happening in order for the body to kind of recover themselves to some level. And it's like the psychic injury isn't always necessarily done by the subconscious. Sometimes it is done by the exterior. The exterior can sometimes program into the subconscious psychic injuries to be triggered at a specific setting. And that's kind of like the whole point of like what exactly happened in certain aspects of society, really, if you think about it. So to kind of to wrap this kind of conversation up a little bit, like the psychic injuries that have been done to people strategically, sometimes they are beyond reason because there is a reason why they are beyond reason. Sometimes there is a very, very good reason why they are beyond reason. Sometimes they have been programmed to be dysfunctional to some level, basically. And sometimes they're accidental and being taken advantage of, basically. There's layers on top of everything. Damn it, that idiot! Glass. The fragments of the broken glass water tank have been piled up. There are so many tiny pieces. Gunta and Tenko certainly didn't hold back when they threw Kibo at the glass. Okay. Bucket. It's a bucket full of piranhas. Gunta said that he picked up all the piranhas and put them here. Can't believe Gunta would do that with his bare hands. Wait, yes I can. When I think that Ryoma is inside their stomachs, I don't really feel like eating them. Why would you even consider eating them in the first place? Only the strong can survive in this world that Atua has created. The least we can do is pray for Ryoma's soul so that he may enter Atua's kingdom. And can he really go there looking like this? Those piranhas sure were a miraculous mystery. Maybe Atua was behind those videos too. What? What were you talking about? I noticed it right as the show started. I feel like there are more piranhas today than yesterday when we were preparing. More piranhas? Why did they multiply overnight? There's no way they could reproduce that fast. But compared to yesterday, the piranhas looked super crammed into that tank. So they looked more crammed together. The water was too murky, so I couldn't tell how many more piranhas there were. But anyway, it was super cramped. Super cramped. Jeez, we get it. More piranhas than yesterday. There might be something to that. Cramped piranhas. Okay. Ryoma's belongings. Ryoma's belongings are gathered together. His clothes, his monopad, and the key to his room. That's it. If we use this key, we can investigate Ryoma's room. What's in his room to investigate? The motive video. Actually, yeah. We should find out whose video Ryoma had. Then, do you think Ryoma was killed because of that video? I can't start it for certain, but we should check just in case. Although he might have had my video. If that were the case, I might be a suspect. Well, no point thinking about that now. Oh, hiccups. Alright, that is all I wanted to see around the water tank. Okay. I should investigate this stage. Okay, Tojo, what do you got? You were helping set up the show, right, Kirumi? Did you hear anything about the trick? No, I did not hear a word. Furthermore, my help consisted of doing the banner and curtains. I do not know the details of her trick. I see. Okay. Piranha tank. When I stood on the stage and looked up, the piranha tank was directly overhead. It was set up so that at the bottom would open the timer when the timer had reached 0. The bottom is open now and the tank is empty. It doesn't look as though it has a lid. I can see the ceiling straight through, and only the front side is glass. The other sides are made of wood. So the piranha tank had no lid, only the front was made of glass. Ah yeah, that tank was from Himiko's research lab. Hey Kaito, you helped carry supplies for the show, right? Yeah, me, Kibo, Himiko, and Nanji. It was a lot of work. But I just helped carry it. I wonder how they hung it from there. It was a heavy tank full of water and piranhas. It couldn't have been easy to lift. It seems this is where the lighting batten for the gym is attached. What the fuck is a lighting batten? Kirumi. The control panel of the side of the stage allows you to raise and lower the batten. It seems they lowered the batten, attached the piranha tank to it, and raised it again. I never knew lighting battens were sturdy enough to lift a tank like that. You can say it was built to lift heavy objects. It is probably quite sturdy. Okay. Piranha tank has been added. Okay. Okay. Closed curtain. There's a curtain hovering it, but I believe there's a window on the other side. What's the matter? You want to check that window out? Yeah, but... Oh, it's too high to reach, huh? Yeah, it's pretty high, even higher than the piranha tank. Higher than the piranha tank. That's right, there was a ladder next to the stage. I'll go get it. Kaito quickly headed off to the stage. Wait, he returned carrying the ladder that was set up beside the stage over his shoulder. But you know, shouldn't the sidekick be the one bringing the ladder? Yeah, I suppose so. Thank you. After setting up the ladder on top of the stage, I climbed the rungs. Yeah. The window is open. Not necessarily, but sure. The culprit may have gone in and out through this window. Yeah, it seems to be the pool. The window frame has distinct abrasions, perhaps stretched by something. This might be related to the case. I should remember it. Marked window frame has been added to the truth bullets. Okay, that's interesting. I climbed down from the ladder to the stage. You done investigating the window? Then I'll go put the ladder back. Yeah, that would be great. Thank you, Kaito. Shouldn't the sidekick be doing this? He complained, but he still put the ladder back for me. I've investigated everything I wanted to on the stage. Huh? Well done here? Now let's go. Yeah, okay. Okay. There's a ladder here. I wonder if it was used to set up the show. Okay. Okay. Anyone got anything that interesting? Let's see the light panel. What is this? It is this control panel for the stage lights. It allows you to raise and lower the batten. Ah, I see. Okay, so that's what it is. Okay. Did I talk with Tojo already? I don't know if I did. Or the timer. This is the timer that was counting down the escape trick. I didn't realize it. It was also a timer to reveal Ryoma's body. Yeah, a little bit. You were helping set up the show, right, Kirumi? Do you hear anything about the trick? No, I did not hear a word. Furthermore, my help consisted of sewing the banner and curtains. I did not know the details of her trick. I see. That's interesting. My first command to be to my new sidekick is... Okay, yeah, sure. Okay. Okay, Angie, do you got something? Ah, that's right. We need to ask Angie about the stage. Hey, Angie, I wanted to ask you some questions about the stage. Yeah, I was in charge of all the art. I even built and painted the stage. And do you know anything about Himiko's trick? Artwork, perhaps? No, I do know the trick. Himiko only said it was magic. I see. I suppose she didn't tell Angie the secret either. By the way, you asked other people to help you with the preparations, right? Yeah, we started the prep work yesterday. Lots of people helped out. Like when we were moving the heavy tank on the stairs from Himiko's research lab. Me and Kibo helped with that. The tank had a pulley, but because it was so huge, it was still a lot of work. And I asked Kirumi to sew the curtains because I hate sewing. So basically, it's all thanks to Atua that the show was a success. No, it's because of all of us. Was it really a success? By the way, were the piranhas your idea? On its own, the underwater escape act is no different from a normal magic show. I thought it would make the show more exciting and divine if we used piranhas. That's what Atua told me. Okay, dude, what the fuck? That's funny. So Atua gives you that kind of advice too, does he? And about the piranha tank at the timer, those were from Himiko's lab, correct? Yep. According to the piranha's tank's manual, it is synced up with the timer. When the timer goes off, the bottom of the piranha tank will open automatically. I see, that means that most of the equipment came from Himiko's lab. And right when we finished the prep work, we were about to take a break. Gunta captured us so we wouldn't rehearse at all. Yeah. When Gunta let us go, it was already nighttime, so we couldn't go back to the gym. Oh yeah, you can't enter the gym at nighttime. So we decided to come to the gym today, before the morning announcement. Himiko and I were waiting for the gym to open. Oh, I was so relieved the set was intact. So no one could have snuck into the gym before those two got there. What's up, Shuichi? Are you worried because of this confusing incident? Don't worry, it'll be fine. What? Atua has spoken. You have nothing to worry about. Nothing to worry about. Nothing can escape. Atua's sight, not even the culprit. Yeah, Atua is truly a divine force to be reckoned with. Angie is starting to sound more and more creepy. Yeah, also, yeah, here's the thing about her psychology, basically. It's like, what it actually makes me think, specifically, is that there are forces at work that makes this more suspicious of Angie a little bit and her programming to begin with. Like psychologically speaking, when I analyze Angie a little bit, I kind of think of it as kind of like, I don't know, how did she get there? Basically, that's kind of what I'm trying to say. Although there are many unknown variables, the first thing we need to make clear is, when was Ryoma murdered? Well, in the middle of the show, obviously. The culprit knew how Himiko's trick worked and took advantage of it to kill Ryoma. In other words, everyone watching the show isn't suspicious. Kaito, you didn't attend the show either, did you? No, but I'm still not suspicious. I forgot the promise, so I was just eating breakfast. You got it! I'm not suspicious! And I do not understand how the explanation is supposed to convince me. Kibo does have a point. Okay. I never would have imagined such a cruel murder happening at such a fun show. Why did the culprit commit such a barbaric act? Did they wish to see us panic? I don't think that was the sole motivation. There was some other reason for it. And that reason must be related to Himiko's magic show somehow. So that means the culprit knew of Himiko's trick and made use of it, yes? If that's true, that Himiko tells someone who thinks the trick is actual magic? Since the show was used, we must investigate the trick as well. Kyo murmured almost to himself, then walked to the back of the stage. Is there anything to investigate backstage? Let's follow him. We should investigate the entire area anyway. We followed Kyo backstage. Okay. Rope. This is a pretty long rope. What was this used for? I estimate it is roughly 65 feet in length. You can tell just by looking at it? And there are wells and ropes. I once visited a village where their use was commonplace. When it was the time for me to leave, the women of the village all begged me to stay. Weird flex, but okay. I find that deeply disturbing, but I have to focus on this investigation. Yeah, literally weird flex, but okay. Anyway, what is this rope? Could this be related to the case? Oh, there's a puddle. What? There's a puddle behind the staircase. This isn't a puddle from where we broke the tank. The floor around it is completely dry. Perhaps someone who was wet was here doing something. Changing wet clothes? But how would you get from a water tank to this space behind the staircase? This may be a vital clue for understanding the underwater escape trick. Okay, wet staircase. This staircase goes up to the top of the stage. Inspecting it closely, I can see that some places on the side are wet. That might have something to do with the puddle next to it. Okay. What about the tank? There's nothing strange about it from behind other than the large size. It's a normal tank. All sides of the tank seem to be made of a special type of glass. I see no hidden doors. Very mysterious. How I wonder. Did Himiko escape from the tank? Well, if we figured it out easily, it wouldn't be a magic trick. I believe that if we figure out the route Himiko took, we will discover how Ryoma got in there. That is true. There is a high probability that they used the same route. To reveal how Ryoma got into the tank, I need to reveal how Himiko managed to get out of it. Okay. I've investigated just about everything to do with the stage. I still don't know how the trick was performed. Hey, how long are you gonna investigate here? We're still gonna find the culprit now. Come on, let's go. Okay. Ah, wait, Kaito. Okay. Okay, what does Tenko has to say? Kimiko says it's magic, then it's magic. Got it. Okay. Cool. Although there are many unknown variables, the first thing we need to make clear is when was Ryoma murdered? It's true, we definitely need to pin that down. Okay. It's interesting. Any insight, Mew? Hey, Flimwad, there's something you need yet to tell me. That's not a very polite way to ask somebody for something. It's got nothing to do with the incident, but I heard Gonta captured you guys like last night. The hell was that all about? I was running around, so I got no clue what happened. Oh yeah, tell me too. I was also running, so I still don't know what went on. So did Mew escape from Gonta? She's not strong enough to fight him. Chop chop, you slime shit. Well, I suppose you could say that Gonta was tricked into kidnapping us. The first ones to get captured were Kibo, Kyo, Tsumugi, Tenko, and I. Himiko and Eiji were brought in later. From the gym, right? Exactly. And Kokichi left the room after around... Wait, Kokichi left the room at around 9 p.m. So they must have been brought in 5 minutes before that. We were all forced to participate in Gonta's insect meet and greet. We were freed about an hour into the nighttime around 11 p.m. So 2 hours where a group of people were in there, basically. So from 9 p.m. to 11 p.m., everybody there had an alibi. And then those people without an alibi are me, Kirumi, Maki, and Ryoma. Yeah. It would be funny if Kaito and Miu were together, actually, the entire time. Yeah, I see you've learned what an alibi is, thanks for the previous incident. But what the fuck is this insect meet and greet bullshit? By the way, Miu, how were you able to get away from Gonta? Oh, well... I had to use my secret woman weapon, and let's just leave it at that. Secret woman weapon? Okay. Hey, what is the secret woman weapon? Okay. Is she trying to laugh it off? Shinji, let's just leave her be. Listening to her will just tire you out. You're probably right. Perhaps it's better to get the truth out of her and at the class trial. Insect, the meet and greet has been added to the truth bullet section of your monopad. Okay. Interesting. If Himiko doesn't tell us how the trick works, we won't know how Ryoma was killed, right? But with the way she is, how do we convince her? Oh, what if... Ryoma was a former apprentice of Himiko's master and vowed revenge on him. And he murdered a lookalike of himself in order to sabotage her show. Or something like that. It happened before, probably. Okay. I'm glad Himiko made this game more difficult. Now I won't be nearly as bored. Time to get to work and hard to resolve this mystery. Get ready, culprit, because here I come! Gonta could have saved him. No, Gonta should have saved him. Gonta, what's wrong? When Piranhas attacked Ryoma, Gonta had dived into Dank. Then Gonta could have helped Ryoma, but Gonta got scared. Too scared to do anything. Sorry. Gonta really sorry. Man shouldn't apologize so easily. And even if you had jumped in, they just would have eaten you too. And from what I read in the Monokuma file, you couldn't have saved him anyway, Gonta. Huh? Really? Does it say that in the Monokuma file? You haven't even read the Monokuma file yet? No, Gonta not really understand it. Gonta not smart enough to be helped. What are you talking about? If you've got time to apologize, you got time to read the file. If you think you can help, then work till you can. That's what you can do. That's right, Gonta. You're a huge help. There's some information that only you know after all. Information only Gonta know? Remember during the show you went up to the stage? That was about 20 seconds before the piranhas dropped, right? Yeah, because Gonta worried about Himiko. Did you see inside the tank? Did you see Himiko or Ryoma? No, Gonta see no one in tank. Gonta kinda surprised. Oh, you can't do that. We're still in the middle of the show. But if Gonta do nothing, Himiko get eaten by piranhas. Wait. Huh? But when the piranhas were dropped and the curtains dropped, Ryoma was in the tank, right? Yeah, that's right. Well, then when did Ryoma get in there? You didn't see it happen? Gonta don't know. Everyone see Ryoma in the tank when piranhas romp in. After that, sorry, Gonta should have watched tank better. Like I said, a man shouldn't apologize so easily. Okay, give me a second, actually. Crap. Oh, give me a second, excuse me. Okay. Dude, it has been so hot in my room for the entire time, and it's so weird. Yeah, you're right. But this is a problem. Now I'm even more stumped. Even if Himiko disappearing was part of the underwater escape act, how did Ryoma get into the tank? Was that part of Himiko's trick? I'm positive that mystery will be an important point of this case. Gonta's account has been added. Okay. I believe we've investigated everything we need to for now. Well, our investigation's over now. So who's the culprit? I can't say for certain yet. There are other places I need to investigate. What? You still don't know? I never thought detective work would be such work. So where else do we gotta investigate? First, the pool next to the gym. They're connected by a window above the stage that needs to be looked at. After that, I want to go to Ryoma's room and find out which motive video he had. Then I want to investigate the Ultimate Tennis Pros lab. I've deducted that the handcuffs were found in the water tank probably came from there. Is that everything? Last of all, to the Ultimate Magician's lab. I want to know more about Himiko's trick. If we go there, I'm sure there'll be some kind of clue. So we still got a lot to do then, huh? Good luck, Shuichi. After all, it's gonna be you doing all the heavy lifting. It's gonna be you doing all the heavy lifting here. Right. What do you mean, right? Are you saying I'm useless? Is there a right way to respond to that? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's kind of interesting. So that's kind of interesting, actually. So yeah, the video specifically is a very, very good reason for the killing to take effect. It has. We need to get to the bottom of whose video did Ryoma have, or something. That's the only lead that I have at the moment. So this is Himiko's research lab. What were you gonna investigate again? The trick that Himiko used in her magic show. I need to figure out how it worked. Well, you say that, but what if it was real magic with no tricks or mechanisms? Well, that would be a problem. If it's not just about the trick. Oh, give me a second. Oh, sneeze. Okay, cool. I need to ask that guy some questions. Hey, Shuichi, did you want to ask me something? Okay. I'll tell you anything you want to know. You are my favorite after all. When he says that, it sounds like he means the opposite. It makes me nervous. I do, actually. It's about when we were kidnapped by Gonta yesterday. You snuck into our rooms to steal our motive videos, right? But is that all you were doing? You came back pretty late. I see, you want to know my alibi for nighttime yesterday? That's a good question to ask. The gym is off limits during nighttime, so Ryuma was probably killed before or after. Which makes nighttime yesterday so suspicious since everybody was doing their own thing. And what were you doing then? It'd be easier if I just explained step by step what happened while I was out last night. After you regained consciousness, Shuichi Gonta brought Himiko and... Oh, wait. Shuichi Gonta brought Himiko and Angie. And that was 5 minutes before 9 p.m. Right after that, I left Gonta's lab and headed towards the dorms. I thought it'd be back in an hour at the start of the nighttime, but something happened. Something happened? Right when I got to the entrance hall, Kirumi spotted me. That was right after I left Gonta's lab. So it was right around 9 p.m. She started throwing questions at me left and right, asking if I was up to no good. Then she started criticizing my behavior and lecturing me on my manners and relationships. Can you believe that? I mean, who does she think she is? My mom or something? Didn't you ask Kirumi to be your mom earlier? I mean... I'm not judging. She just kept talking, then finally let me go out at around 10 p.m. when the nighttime rolled around. A whole hour? Well, only the first half hour was a lecture. Then we played tag for another half. What was... Huh? She was starting to bore me, so I turned around to leave, and then... Stop right there. Our conversation is not over yet. Wait, Kirumi. Okay. I'm gonna listen to you. You're not worthy of lecturing the ultimate supreme leader. Come on, Miss Maid. Catch me if you can. Is that a request? And then I guess Kirumi decided to take tag super seriously. I tried my best, but in the end she caught me a little before 10 p.m. But she started lecturing me again and let me go when nighttime started. So your alibi still holds up, even when she was chasing you around. We're running to each other a bunch of times, so yeah, they should hold up. Then from 9 p.m. until nighttime, both Kokichi and Kirumi have alibis. After Kirumi let me go, I finally went to the dorms and collected everybody's videos. But by the time I returned to Gonta's lab, it was already 11 p.m. Then from 10 to 11, he doesn't have an alibi. Oh yeah, I did something odd while Kirumi was lecturing me. Something odd? I saw a half-naked girl wandering around the courtyard in her underwear. It was too dark for me to make out of who it was, but I saw her walk around for a bit. I wonder who it was. A girl in her underwear? What the hell is he talking about? Kokichi's account... What? By the way, you didn't get captured by Gonta yesterday, did you, Kaito? Where were you? And what were you doing? I was running around the whole time, and I hid in the bathrooms all over the school. I see. Interesting. It's like, was motherfucking Kaito and Miu like doing something weird in the middle of the night in their undies or something? What the fuck? What a huge saw. It's probably using the saw a person half trick. Okay. Is this used for magic tricks too? I've seen it in magic shows before. This has nothing to do with the case. Okay. There are several swords stabbed into a human-sized box. Okay. Oh, there's a tank over here. It's a huge water tank. It looks like the one that was used in Kimiko's show. Looks like the same tank Himiko used in the show. I guess this one's a backup. That's what Himiko told me and Kibo when we carried the tank out of here. Then perhaps if we investigate this tank, we can learn the secret of the trick. Encouraged, I began walking around the tank. I was looking for anything that could be a switch or mechanism. What's this? There's a segment of the tank near the top that opens up. But why open up there? Ah, wait, perhaps that isn't random. This segment had to open up here. Yeah, because like that's how Himiko escaped, probably. What are you doing here, Tsumugi? Huh? Well, I'm investigating. I know I'm playing, but it's plain to see I'm investigating. Is that so? No, did you find any clues? I'm still thinking about that. Oh. I don't know, you can uncover clues just by thinking about them. No. In fact, I still haven't found anything. Then get to it! Looking around is how you find clues. But I think leaving that guy alone is just plain bad. Tsumugi gave Kokichi a meaningful glance. So I've decided to plainly keep an eye on him. That way even plain old me can help out. This is a big cage. I might fit inside this. This has nothing to do with the case. Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so Shuichi brought Gonta. Okay, so Gonta brought Himiko and Angie. 5 minutes before 9 p.m. Right after that, I left Gonta's lab and headed towards the dorm. Okay. I thought I'd be back an hour, okay. But Kirumi spotted him. So, yeah, 9 p.m. Okay. So an hour of talking to Tojo, Kirumi Tojo. From 9 p.m. until nighttime, both Kokichi and Kirumi have alibis. And I went to the dorms and collected everybody's videos. But by the time I returned to the Gonta's lab, it was already 11 p.m. And from 10 to 11, he has no alibi. Oh yeah, I did see something odd while Kirumi was half-naked girl wandering around the courtyard in her underwear. It was too dark for me to make out who it was, but I saw her walking around for a bit. I wonder who it was. Okay. So, I guess that's kind of the thing a little bit, where... like, very likely... So from 9 to 10, there was also another naked girl in the middle of the school grounds. Cool. Oh, wait! That's probably Miu scaring Gonta away. Actually. Or, well, quote-unquote scaring Gonta away. Maybe the intent was not to scare. Actually, it makes me wonder, like, legitimately speaking, do women actually have a primal instinct to get horny by angry men who are muscular? Like, actually, sometimes from time to time, I actually wonder if there's... I mean, obviously, like, if it's consensual, then that has to be the point, right? But it's like, it actually makes me wonder if there are actually women who actually want angry men to be angry at them in a physical manner, actually. Like, it actually makes me wonder specifically. So it's like, okay, well, that's kind of a debate for another day, I guess. Okay, wait. Maki, what are you doing here? Earlier you said that you weren't going to help us investigate. Were you serious about that? You'll be fine, even if I don't help, right? You're the detective, not me. Or do you think you can solve this case on your own? Then that's completely different. This is... Haha, that's pretty harsh, but my sidekick is working his ass off. Sidekick? Yup, Shrich is my sidekick now. Shouldn't it be the other way around? The dumb one should be the sidekick. The dumb one? I'm more of a scientist type of guy. But this stuff really isn't my thing. Wouldn't being a scientist be helpful for an investigator? More importantly, why have you been here this whole time? Is there a reason? Why do you care? Because it's been bothering me. You've been here ever since this room opened up. Almost as if you are keeping watch, making sure nobody else enters. Is this an interrogation? No, that's not what I'm thinking, what I'm trying to do. I just want you to talk to me, Maki. If this has nothing to do with the case, please tell me so. It's true that you don't have to help us if you don't want to. But you should at least cooperate with our investigation. Because all our lives are on the line. Even if I did cooperate, it wouldn't be any help. Mostly because I've been here for the last several days. I've only gone back to my dorm at night to shower, including last night. Then can I ask you this? Did you see Gonta at all last night? Gonta was searching the grounds last night, trying to capture all of us. How were you able to avoid being caught? Gonta did stop by, but I managed to chase him off somehow. All I did was tell him, if you lay a hand on me, you'll choke to death on your own tongue. That's all. So Gonta got scared off by that? Then I guess he wouldn't hold back against a girl. As I listened to Maki's testimony, a question grew in my mind. Why did Maki not want to leave so badly? What reason did she have for that? Are we done here? You're wasting your time talking to me. I don't know anything. Okay, I'm done here. Huh? You are? Well, her alibi's a little shaky, but I don't think she killed Ryoma. That's what my instincts are telling me. Sure. But if you remember anything, be sure to just tell Shuichi, okay? He's my sidekick, you know? He's pretty good. In the end, the only thing we were able to get out of Maki was that she was here the whole time. But no one else can verify the testimony. That might be a problem later. Okay, Maki alone. Yeah. Huh? What are you doing here, Kirumi? We'll agree to investigate with at least one other person present, yes? As she spoke, she glanced towards Maki. So you're staying with Maki. That's good thinking. Hey, once we're done with the trial, can I get a massage? But of course, since you are here, Shuichi, may I ask you a question? The time of death was not provided, so I am questioning everyone in order to determine it. When was the last time you saw Ryoma alive? Right before I was kidnapped by Gonta yesterday, around 6 in the evening. Last time I saw him was way before then. Didn't actually see him at all yesterday, actually. Then you're fine, Kaito. What's important is the last time somebody witnessed him alive. Last time somebody witnessed Ryoma alive. Gonta was the last one to see him alive around 8 PM yesterday. Okay. Ryoma managed to avoid being captured by him by using his Shukuchi method. So Ryoma was still running around after I got captured. Furthermore, 30 minutes earlier, Miu saw Ryoma as she was fleeing from Gonta. In that case, Gonta's testimony is highly credible. Yes, we at least know that Ryoma was alive yesterday until around 8 p.m. Witnessing Ryoma has been added to the truthful section of your Monopad. Okay. So, yeah, what I'm gathering is that Miu probably got naked to scare somebody off, or... Dude, knowing Miu, I have a feeling that was not the purpose. Was not to scare Gonta off. I think that was not the purpose. Possibly. Yeah. That is very likely. Okay, the Ultimate Tennis Pros lab. I'm right then. The handcuffs that were found in the tank came from here. And if the handcuffs came from here, that means the culprit was here as well. They may have left a trace of evidence. This room is a little different from when we were here before. It feels off. What's the matter, Shichi? Nothing. Anyway, let's figure out the handcuffs. We should take care of that problem first. Okay. Door to hallway. Shower room. Ultimate prisoner lab. This is the first time I've been here. It's a shower room, but it feels like the Ultimate Tennis Pros. And more like the Ultimate Prisoner's lab. No. Do you think it was made that way on purpose? Did they remodel the shower just for that? Yeah, I think they did. Geez, Monokuma's got bad taste. Well, we already knew that. Yeah, it's like, psychologically speaking, Monokuma is probably torturing Ryoma in some shape or form. There they are, the handcuffs. Look, Kaito, handcuffs hanging on the wall. Oh, they look like the ones in the tank. Or wait, are they the same? I think so. Here, look. See, one empty hook. The handcuffs we found must have been hung here. Kind of interesting because the bolt is also bent. So because the bolt is bent, does that mean that they were taken by force in a rush? That means the culprit was definitely here. Scratched handcuffs has been updated. Yeah, that's interesting. This is a pretty big stone sink. You could fill up a lot of water. Huh, what's this? Sorry about that. Scratches on the stone, like something was scraped against it. You're right. What made them? These scratch marks are clearly not natural. They must have been made by some kind of metal. That is interesting. Scratched sink. So it is possible that Ryoma got handcuffed and tried to get rid of it. Okay. This window has no vines or barbed wire or bars blocking it. And there was that one window I could see from the pool area. This is probably that window. I should open it to make sure. Just as I suspected. Right. So that's probably what is happening here, where like the pool area is kind of important. I feel like we should investigate the pool if that is the case. Huh? A pool? Wait up, we're on the 3rd floor, so we're pretty high up, yeah? If you did it just right, do you think you could jump right into the pool from here? Yeah, and you can swim at any time other than nighttime. It said that in the school rules and the rules in the pool area as well. I see. Well, I don't want to swim, so that doesn't really affect me. Wait a second, what's this? Huh? Look, there's a weird scratches on the window frame. You're right, there are definitely aberrations here. These marks are similar to the ones that were on the gym's window frame. I'm positive these marks aren't the result of opening and closing the door normally. This window frame is sturdy as well. The gym's window frame was the same way. Looks like it would hold even with a lot of weight on it. Now you understand, right, Shuichi? What? How amazing I am to have noticed such a super ultra important clue. It is all in a day's work for... Oh, okay. It's all in a day's work for Kaito Momota, luminary of the stars. I mean, I found a pretty important clue too, but I won't say that. We came here to confirm my suspicion about the handcuffs found at the tank, but we found even more important clues than I expected. Together with the fact that this is Ryoma's own lab, there are too many points of concern to be mere coincidence. It must be an important evidence. Seems like you figured something out. You seem more confident. Alright then, on to the next place. There's no point in standing here. Right. So yeah, we probably have to go to the pool at this point. Seems to be a prime place to look for clues, actually. So where should we go? Oof. As we came out of the shower room, Kaito tripped and fell on the ground. The hell? Something on my leg! It looks like a cable. Is this for the tennis net? Man, whoever left this here should have put it in the corner. Wait, the tennis net? I see, so this is why the room felt odd. Should investigate this in detail. Okay. Okay, the bundle cord. Hey, you said this cable is for hanging up the tennis net, right? Yeah, that's right. It's a cable that keeps the net up. And it's not inside of the net. That's it. The reason I thought this room felt off, it's because of the net. When I came up here last time, the tennis net was up. But now the cable has been removed. So like something took the cable off? Why would they do that? To climb off the window into the pool? And from the pool into the gym window, maybe? Kaito, can you help me? I want to measure how long this cable is. No need, it's just about 50 feet long. What? I was at the tennis club till middle school, so I know how long the cable is. You were in the tennis club? That's why it pissed me off so much that Ryoma was acting like that. Did you know Ryoma from before? I never met him, but I heard a lot of him. I mean, these days there's no one who played tennis that hasn't learned of him. He's been a tennis legend since middle school. He was like a hero to every tennis kid. And then once I finally got to meet him, he became a coward. That pissed me off so much, I ended up being too hard on him. But regretting that now won't help. There's nothing I can do. So what's suspicious about the length of the cable? Did something about it bother you? No, nothing specific. I was just checking. The detectives get bothered by small details, huh? Like an overbearing mother-in-law nitpicking a young wife. What is that analogy? Yeah, I was about to say, like, what the fuck is that analogy? Okay. Interesting. Alright, I've searched the whole area now. I should move on to the next one. There are still other places left to search. Yeah. Just to make sure. Okay. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Okay. So 50 feet. Okay. Okay, okay, camera, please. For the... Okay, can I select that point? Okay, okay, there, cool. Yeah, we kind of have to go to the pool to see what could have happened here. The water is lower now. There's an inner tube floating in the pool. Looks like a big, sturdy rubber one. Let me guess, somebody didn't clean up after themselves. Hello. Dan, look at us! I don't like water, I prefer juice. We get heavier when our cotton absorbs water. It makes losing weight a nightmare. I want to play in the water with everyone. It sounds fun. You know, Monodan might be onto something. I wanted to go in the pool now. Yeah, who cares about losing weight? Idiots, we're not here to play. We're here to smack those bastards into the pits of hell. We're the Monocups, the meanest, nastiest, cruelest mascots around. If I don't get it, I'll throw you all into the pool myself. Oh, please don't. Monosuke, please stop. Can't we all just get along? You ain't saying that if we don't get along, I'll end up like Monokid? Okay, sure. Okay, cool. So then it was one of us that put the inner tube there, not the Monocups. Well, it doesn't matter. The inner tube probably isn't related to the case. It's not related to the case. If it were just playing around, then why is there a rope tied to it? What could that be for? That is intriguing. This doesn't look like a normal school pool, more like a pool at a resort. The pool is deep, but it isn't filled all the way up. I feel like it's emptier than before. Maybe I'm imagining. Still, plenty of water to swim in. The water level hasn't changed, but I can see something floating on it. Okay, yeah, sure. I can see more things floating on it. Huh, there's something else floating in the pool. Looks like a little piece of fabric. That's just trash, right? Nothing to be worried about. We're looking for the culprit. We don't have time to pick up trash. Yes, but perhaps it is just my intuition, but it does bother me. I should learn to trust it sometimes. My intuition as the ultimate detective. Black piece of fabric has been added to the truth bullet section of your monopad. Okay. Okay. Storage room door. Nothing has changed. Okay. But the window. You can see the gym's window over there. That's the window we investigated from on top of the stage of the gym. I mean, it's pretty high up. You wouldn't be able to reach it with just a ladder. I agree. The ladder only barely reached the window, and it was on the stage. If that's the case, then it might have been hard for someone to have gone through there. Yeah, you might be right. So, what exactly could have happened here? This is the pool's equipment shed. I'll take a look inside just in case. Huh? Is that an electric air pump? I see. You could easily fill a large inner tube with this. There doesn't seem to be anything else worth inspecting. Pool is 82 feet in length. Should I write that down? Probably I should. I probably should write those things down a little bit. Okay, let's see. 82 feet. How much is that in in actual like measuring like meters, you know? Feet. Okay, let me double check. Okay, so 82 feet. Okay, feet to meters. Okay, so 82 feet into meters is 24 meters. That's kind of interesting, actually. 24 meters deep. That's pretty deep, actually. Dude, that's more deep than the mental wounds of an adult actress, actually. Yeah, that's pretty deep. That's pretty deep, actually. That's insanely deep. $11 meters. Okay, so it is 11 meters to 82 to 24.9. So 25, basically 25 meters. Let's just round it up. So 25 meters by 11 meters. Okay, cool. Interesting. The pool side is, oh wait, okay, 13 feet, okay. 13 by 8, okay. 3 meters by, okay. 3 by 8. Okay, so 3 by 2. So wait, does that sound right? Actually, 13 feet. Okay, no, it is not 3. It is kind of 4. It's more 4 than 3. So let's just round it up. Say 4 by 2 meters. Of diameter. Well, not diameter. What is the thing called? Perimeter. The perimeter. Perimeter. Perimetry. the line around the surface, the right. I don't know that exactly. Okay, there's something about bothering me about the pool rules. They say. Oh no, jumping into the pool, especially at nighttime. Whoa, where did it come from? I mean, jumping itself is fine if you want to jump in front of a car or a train. That's kind of a new. But the pool is off limits at nighttime. See, that's something at nighttime. Learn to read, idiots. That should be a violation, right? If anybody violates the school regulation, a campus-wide siren will blare. And then that person will be ripped apart by the exisals. You go that far? Well, so far the siren hasn't gone off, so no one needed to be ripped apart. Yet. Since that's the case, can we assume no one was in the gym or pool at nighttime? Well, at the very least, no one alive. Okay, cool. No swimming at nighttime. That just might play into this case. Pool rules has been added to the truth bullet section of your monopad. Hey, Shuichi, does this pool really have anything to do with the case? We got all psyched up about it, but it doesn't seem like there were any clues here. Well, that inner tube is still bothering me. I don't know what it tells us, but I feel like it's related to this case. But you know, if the inner tube is related to the case, the culprit is pretty careless. If it was related to the case, why didn't they clean it up? Just leaving it sitting out like that? Do you think that's straight up careless? No, even if they wanted to put it away, they couldn't. There's no pole or anything around here that could use to get that inner tube. The water level is so low, you couldn't grab the tube even if you did manage to bring it closer. Then why not just jumping and fish it out by hand? Oh, that's right, they couldn't get in the water. Couldn't get in the water. I suppose you can think of it that way. Well, we can stay here forever, right? Let's go check out the other places. There's no time to waste, isn't that right, sidekick? Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah, this inner tube is bothering me way too much. Yeah. It's still bothering me. Okay, let's go to Ryoma's room, I'm presuming. So this is Ryoma's room, huh? So where's his video? I don't see it sitting out anywhere. Maybe he put it on his bookcase? Kaito opened up all the drawers one by one, checking each of them. That's weird. I can't find it anywhere. I see, so we can't find it. That's alright. That's a clue in itself. Huh? What do you mean? You see, if we suppose the motive for the crime was the video, there's a high possibility that Ryoma had the culprit's motive video. If their motive video was left at the scene, they could have immediately been suspicious. There's no reason the culprit would leave behind that kind of incriminating evidence. That's true. The video is not in the room, which means... It's just like we thought. That video was the motive. Yes, that's the best explanation I can think of. Alright, that's just what I expect from my top sidekick. Okay. That's funny because he has his video. What's the matter, Shuichi? Nothing. By the way, I was thinking. Maybe we should have watched those all should have watched those motivators after all. What? They showed the most important people to us, right? So maybe we should have watched them without looking away from the truth. At the time, I agreed with Kiba, but after thinking about it, I changed my mind. And if we were worried about watching them alone, we could have just watched them together. Watch them together? Yeah, we should have gathered together and watched all the videos, shared everybody's motives. Even if it's something you can't bear with yourself, it'd be possible with everyone. That's what cooperation is, right? That's what Kokichi was trying to do. Huh? Kokichi was trying to get us to participate in a motive video viewing party of sorts. That's why he forced us into the same room. Do you think that was his way of cooperating? Do you think the same way? No, if that's what he wanted, he could have just asked us. That's what a normal person would have done. But the thing is, he's not normal. Maybe he did want us to cooperate, but there's no way to know for sure. He'd never tell us. That's true. It's impossible to know what Kokichi is thinking. But I suppose he could have been acting in our favor for once. Okay. Okay. Oh, it's already pretty late for me. Right. Right. Monokuma, I know that. I get it, Monokuma. I get it. You want to know why I get it? Because I'm probably your audience. That's the funny part. Like, if I actually do think about it from some perspectives, I am probably your audience. To some level. Because that psychological reflection comes from somewhere. And you know what? That's okay, I guess. Monokuma, are we actually bonding, or like do you want to share a glass of champagne with me, or like what reaction do you want from me, actually? What exactly do you want me to say to this situation? What do you mean? What exactly do you mean? Okay, yeah, sure, whatever. Yeah, sure. Looks like it's time, bro. Yeah. Hey, why do you look so worried now? Don't worry, you can do it. I believe in you. Believe in me? Why? Why do you trust me, Kaito? There's a chance that I'm the culprit. I believe in you because I want you. Do I need a reason other than that? What? Isn't that why you believed in Kaede? I mean, sure, I might be betrayed in the end, but if I worry about that, I won't be able to believe in the people I want to believe in. Shuichi, you're still young. I can't die before I had my first rank or gone to space. You're not going to get yourself in gear now, then when? Now's all you got. Ironically, what Ryoma, well, not Ryoma, what Kaito is doing is the smartest thing to do. It can be a very, very motherfucking painful move if you think about it. and it can be a reflection over what he actually wants to say to Shuichi himself. But it is probably the smartest move because it shows the amount of it's like an investment. You're investing yourself into something. And because if you're investing yourself into something, it means that it's going to pay off in one way or another, regardless of what you do, basically. So that's kind of the thing, a little bit. Yeah, that's the expression I wanted to see. That's my sidekick. He's right, I just have to do it. I have to believe in myself. I have to believe that I can do this. I'm going to survive. We're going to survive together. Maybe I don't really understand it. Maybe I don't have a reason. Okay. I don't want to live. I want to die with everybody else. No, I want to live. I want to live with a long life. I don't want to die. I can't die in a place like this. Never. That's kind of like the funny part about it. Okay. Don't worry, you can do it. I believe in you. Now let's get to the Shrine of Judgment. Okay, yeah, sure. Cool. Cool. What's up with Kaito, though? Something about this is very ominous, and I'm not I feel like I'm reading a magazine of some sort. A little bit. Maybe a little bit. Probably. Like, you know what's funny? If I was the naive person that I was probably like a few years ago, I would have just ignored this and just gone along with my day. But now that I'm a little bit more well versed with how people actually are, the more I start seeing some signals about what they actually are trying to portray here. Really. It's kind of an interesting thing. A little bit. Is everybody ready? Not like we have choice, right? You're quick to understand. It's as though Monokuma has you trained. We got nothing to worry about. Right, assholes? We'll figure out the culprit, won't we? Of course, we don't need to worry. The top suspect is obvious this time. Right, Himiko? How dare you bully Himiko, you degenerate? You want me to Aikido chop your head off, huh? That's not even Aikido anymore, is it? No matter this matter will be discussed in due time. You shouldn't save your arguments until then. Yeah, let's put an end to this at the class trial. Yeah, you're right. Okay, sure. Okay. Rumble. Okay. Cool. I still laugh a little bit about this scene in particular. Just a teeny tiny bit. Like, it's hilarious. The door appeared before us with pomp, as if it's sending heroes off to war. After a pause, we all stepped towards the door. Okay, sure. We were silent. All I could hear was our unsteady breathing. Just as we passed through the door. Okay, cool. It started up again. You know, okay, besides the text that is about to happen, part of me actually does regret, okay, like, this is gonna be real talk for like a little bit, basically. But it's like parts of me kind of regrets not getting a job back then when I was like 21 or something. You know what I mean? It's like back when I was like 20, 21, like 18, kind of like around that age where I didn't know what to do in my life back in the day. I was like, yeah, like, I don't know, I didn't get into university and I kind of did my school work in one exam because like I didn't bother to actually study after being so depressed about life and everything. I was like at that time there were so many video games like around 20, I want to say 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017, like around that kind of range. There were plenty of games that I actually did want to play basically because I was like, dude, what if I play like Fire Emblem or something? What if I get to play Fire Emblem? What if I get a Nintendo, like whatever the fuck, and play all those games that I wanted to play the entire time? It's kind of like, yeah, partially it was because like a little bit of pride to be like, I mean, yeah, like part of me didn't want to study because of pride in particular. Well, to get a job, well, a part of me didn't want to get a job back then because of pride in particular. I was like, yeah, I'll probably go to back to school at some point, so it's fine, right? Like I'll go to school eventually, like, and I'll study something, and maybe my life will have some kind of sense, basically. But it's just like, even back then, when I was like resting without getting kind of like purpose to like education or anything, I probably should have worked to at least enjoy these kind of games a little bit. Like, I feel like if I studied, if I worked during that time where I gave up in studying Japanese because I was too old to go into the Japanese programs, like, it kind of made me think that it's like, yeah, maybe I should have not rejected. Just because a door closed doesn't mean that I need to close the entire thing, basically. And it's like, yeah, there's some level of regret about me in that instance, even though that at that point I was like so psychologically depressed that I couldn't go into like back in the day, my dream, if I'm completely honest with you, it was like, yeah, I want to go to the US or like Japan or something, because like if I go to those places I can find fun stuff, like, I don't know, anime conventions or like, I don't know, some kind of bullshit, or I can go to Japan directly and just get into that kind of lifestyle or something. And that was my mentality back in the day. I was like, oh dude, like if I go to Japan I can actually like, maybe I can find some kind of purpose there or something, who knows, basically. And yeah, it's like the programs that were in place were like, oh yeah, you're 21, sorry, you're 1 year too old. If you were 20, you had a chance because you have like your score, your exam score is high enough, so you can actually go into Japan with this program. I was like, at that time I was like 21, I think. And I remember it's a core memory to me, basically, because it was kind of like the beginning of my nihilist era where I didn't give a fuck about anything in life anymore. Where it's like, oh yeah, sorry, you're 21. This program is for young people, for young students, so they can get an experience into going into Japan, basically. And yeah, and the whole program was like, oh yeah, you will learn the Japanese language or so on, and you get a degree in something. I don't remember specifically, but it was something. And I remember to myself at that point, I was like, oh yeah, well, America's getting a little bit too hostile, because like, oh yeah, fuck Mexican, fuck this, fuck that. I was like thinking to myself around that time, where I was like, yeah, well, option number B is on fire, and option number A basically has no longer any options for me because I'm too old. I was like, at that point in my life, that's kind of where my descent began, because I was like, this, like in some shape or form, I was like, dude, there's no point of aspiring to be anything, because the places that I want to be aren't going to be available. And the attitudes of those people are like, yeah, we're not entitled to give you anything. So at that point I was like, yeah, I accept that they just don't, that I'm not entitled to anything. But at that point I was like, yeah, but I don't want to live in Mexico. Like, Mexico sucks at the moment. Like, it's just bad day after bad day after bad day of news after bad day of news after bad day of news after bad day of news. And I was like, what's the point of studying at that point? Why the fuck do I even study? Really? If my entire life is to stay in Mexico, basically, what the fuck is the point? I was like, and at that point, it's kind of what made me realize that it's like, maybe I shouldn't have been so pessimistic. Maybe I should have just worked a little bit to get a little bit of money and enjoyed all these kind of games. Because these games, I feel like these games would have motivated me to keep on going, even if it was more difficult for me to some level, basically. But yeah, it's like 2015 probably was 2015. 2016 was probably like the worst years for me, basically. It was like the beginning of despair, ironically. It's kind of funny considering Danganronpa, right? But it was like the beginning of despair for me. It was the beginning of nihilism. It was the beginning of self-destruction. It was the beginning of there's no purpose in life. And it's like, the more that I kind of read into Ryoman's psychology, the more I kind of understand that it's like, yeah, when your inflated psychology centers around something for so long and so deeply, and the world itself tells you that you cannot have those options anymore, it kind of does destroy you a little bit. It kind of does something to your mind, and your mind kind of collapses onto itself. It just stops caring, basically. It's like, that's kind of like the overwhelming essence of like what it means to go through despair. The destruction of the beginning of the destruction of oneself, the willingness to die as an individual, the death of the soul, and when your soul dies, everything else follows as a consequence, basically. So that's kind of the thing, really, sometimes that kind of like irks me from time to time, because I was like, yeah, well, yeah, sometimes the world really wants, like, for example, like at the beginning of the stream is like, yeah, Japan is kind of like the Turel of the entire world, basically, where like they're kind of trapped in the psychological healing effect that they do by being themselves, and the opportunities and the resources that they give to the entire world, basically. But it's like, yeah, it's like Japan to some level is kind of obligated to be that kind of thing, because it gives them economy, but at the same time it's like, yeah, they kind of have to like mask their pain and suffering in other ways, basically. And yeah, it's like that kind of caused a lot of like karoshi, a lot of a lot of like self-inflicted wounds to their own people. Like, yeah, and it's like, when I think about it from that perspective, it's just like, had I had my philosophy back when I was younger, maybe things would have been different for me and my universe, basically. Maybe the world wouldn't have collapsed the way that it did, basically. But it's like, to some level, the world collapsed the way that it did because of certain reasons, to some level. Like, maybe it wasn't my fault, and maybe there needed to be somebody who stood up to everything. But nobody did, because nobody wanted to be the hero. Nobody wanted to do the right thing. Nobody wanted good things to happen. They just wanted good things to happen to themselves to some level. Nobody wanted to be Prometheus, to deal with the consequences of giving people fire for the purpose of actually like making a better place, because like everybody was competing at that time, and it was the most ruthless competition the world had ever seen to some level. But yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit when it comes to like the existence of individuals to some level, that we can go as crazy to make like X, Y, and Z kind of like ideologies to destroy others. And yeah, we saw the consequences of that kind of idea. We saw the consequences of just being nihilistic. We saw the consequences of never being individuals ourselves. And because of that, we kind of ended up in this situation in the end, basically, where we're just talking about trying to get ourselves back on our 2 feet while bleeding in the same spot, basically, and bleeding with your own wounds to just, I don't know, carry on, basically. So that's kind of the thing a little bit, where to some level I kind of have to be a little bit like, I don't know if it was necessary for me to find people or like some kind of interaction for me to kind of like even have some level of understanding, basically. But yeah, it's like the reality of the things is like, it's kind of like the same thing that I've kind of like mentioned the entire same time, and the solution to everything isn't always very clear cut on an AoE spell type of scenario. Basically, it's like sometimes the only thing that you can do is just make the most AoE spell that you can give, basically. Sometimes that's the only thing that you can kind of do to some level, really. And it's like, yeah, it's kind of like a tough situation because like men and women have to mask themselves to be too self-important for everybody else in order for them to survive. Sometimes, from time to time, you get too close and people can rip you to shreds if the wrong people use the wrong information against you, basically, or like your sensitivities, because like not everybody in the world is gonna like you, really. It's like, you like anime, there's gonna be some people who are gonna be like, hey, fuck you, actually go fuck yourself, go kill yourself in Minecraft or something. I was like, yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit. Like, it's kind of like a tough situation, really. Normally I wouldn't mind this shaking, but I'm feeling especially sensitive to it now. Each of us felt that trembling through our entire bodies as we sunk further still. With that sure footing and positive, I would have fallen as well. My breathing was becoming more ragged. My heart pounded harder and harder, just when I thought I would pass out from the nerves. The elevator came to a stop, but this wasn't the end, no. It was only just beginning. Okay. Welcome, you've hopelessly arrived once again. You want to come here again because of how wonderful it is? Isn't it wonderful? I put so much effort into building this place. It should be a monument. Actually, we're the ones who used the exocells to build the courtroom. But Father just took all the credit. But I am happy to be used as a slave by Father. You idiots are really committing to this henchman bit. You guys are just so cute that I can help working you to the bone. You put a lot of elaborate detail into this courtroom, almost like it's for a show. For a show, huh? That's an interesting way to put it. Is this just for show? Are you showing this to the people outside and... Those people aren't with us, so you don't need to worry about them. Get it? They're not with us. As in, they're no longer with us. You know what I mean? In other words, you 13 are the only ones left in the world. Now show me just how you intend to bargain for your lives. Okay, yeah, cool. Then the class trial began. Ryuma Hoshi, the ultimate tennis pro, after falling from his former glory, he told us he had no reason to live. But even so, he said he wanted to fight besides us, to get out of here with us. For that, he was trying to find a reason to live. He might have been a little stern, but he wasn't a cold man at all. The person who killed him is here right now. I want to believe that's a lie. I don't want to believe it at all. But if this is where I find the truth, I won't avert my eyes anymore. This is the wish she entrusted me to me. Okay? I will find the truth to get out of here with everyone alive. I'm going to survive. I can't die here in order to keep my promise to her. I will fight. I will fight for my life in this trial of truth and lies. Okay, cool. You want to save? Yes. Okay. So yeah, to some level, I feel like I do need to make time for myself to like study a little bit. Like that's kind of like the funny part about it. It's like, yeah, like this is kind of like what showed up in my mind sometimes. It's like sometimes I tend to like me. I'm the kind of person that tends to avoid doing the things that I actually want because I'm afraid to actually get hurt by the people who actually care about me to some level. Like actually, that's kind of the thing. Like when it comes to like certain things, like I'm very avoidant to certain things, and it's like that's kind of like the funny part for the longest time because like I kind of had this mentality when I was when I played Legacy of Kain, right? Where I was like, I don't want to play. I actually don't want to play Legacy of Kain on stream because I don't know. It's kind of like a personal game. I don't really want to play a personal game onto people because I don't want to show my vulnerabilities onto a world that I really like this game to some level, basically. And it's like it's kind of like it's kind of weird if you think about it like that, basically, where people have their personal books, they have their personal games, they have their personal music that they just don't show to other people because it's personal. It's kind of like a thing that you keep to yourself. It is the soundtrack of your life, basically. And sometimes when you show it to people and they don't like it, sometimes it kind of hurts when people don't like the things that you like. Really, it's kind of a weird thing if you think about it, basically, where like it kind of feels very nice when you show somebody else that you like certain things because it's kind of like, oh yeah, it's a wholesome experience and you feel warm about it. But when it comes to like streaming, it's a little bit of a different game, basically, where you kind of sometimes have to play games that you don't really care about too deeply because that makes you feel safe. And sometimes the games that you kind of play, you do care about them, but not deeply enough. You don't care about them in a personal level because if you care about the personal level, you're kind of opening yourself up to like trouble, basically. So yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit. It's kind of difficult sometimes to just do that kind of thing, and sometimes exploring kind of does give you like a little bit of a does make you find things that you didn't think that you would have enjoyed, basically. Like for example, Danganronpa for me, when I first played Danganronpa, the first one, I was like, yeah, this is kind of an interesting game. I kind of like it. I kind of like the style of it. But I was like not super in love with it. But like the more that I played it, the more it kind of became like a personal game, and the more it became kind of like a confident. It kind of became a confidence boost building exercise because I ended up loving the games themselves by what they are, basically. While things that you personally play because you saw something of you inside of another medium, it's a little bit more difficult. It's a little bit more difficult to pull that kind of rug onto people, basically. And I say that because, like for example, the Rifantasio game, I felt like like me personally speaking, I felt a personal connection to that game in particular because I was like, oh, it looks kind of like Persona, but like with themes that could actually attach to me to some level. So it's like, okay, yeah, maybe that's kind of a reason for me to kind of exist, to kind of like, well, to save it for later. Basically, I don't want to play it on stream. I want to play it for myself. And that's kind of the thing, really, when it comes to like certain games. Like for example, with like Steins Gate, like I never completed that game because I felt a little bit because it felt like it was going to be a long game, and I felt insecure that people weren't going to watch it, basically. But maybe I was wrong to some level. Maybe I was fucking wrong to some level, and the reason why that was because like I was kind of liking the characters on a personal level, basically. Like I was really liking the characters on a personal level, and it was kind of becoming a little bit more difficult for me to continue that because on stream because it was like, yeah, no, I don't want to spoil this for me. I don't want to bore people that I'm enjoying this kind of thing. And it's kind of like, yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit where Like for example, with Danganronpa a little bit, it's like the third installment definitely feels different. Kind of feels like a different game altogether. And because of it, I'm enjoying it in a different pace. Like I'm not forcing myself to be like, hey, chapter one stream, 4 hours, trial, 4 hours. And like I'm not binding myself to that kind of thing in this game, in the third installment in particular. But what I'm trying to do instead is just kind of being like, yeah, I'm enjoying it in my own pace. I'm kind of like seeing what I'm seeing, and because I'm seeing what I'm seeing, it makes me kind of like enjoy it a little bit more. It makes me want to feel satisfied about what I'm actually like playing. And the reason why that is because like I have some more layers on top of what um more layers of understanding over how like kind of how the game is kind of structured in some personal level, and because of that, it becomes more of a personal experience more than anything. It's in some shape or form, basically. And it's like, yeah, when it's a personal experience, it's the playthrough is a little bit different, right? It's when you get a form of emotional attachment to a game, it shows that you're willing to put yourself out there and be vulnerable and maybe get injured in the process, basically. And yeah, it's kind of like a weird thing to realize that as a streamer, basically, that as a streamer, you kind of like have to put yourself out there vulnerably, and you kind of have to fight anything that opposes you to some level. And it's like sometimes those insecurities win, and sometimes those insecurities makes you like even think things that you don't actually believe in, to be honest with you. Like you don't actually believe all those things that are like affecting your life, and sometimes the things that they say, sometimes it's just to harm you, basically. But it's like when you think that people aren't going to like you, basically, sometimes you self-destruct because you think, oh shit, people don't like me. What do I have to do for them to like me? Do I have to agree with everything that they're saying? Or maybe I don't. What do I do exactly? Like what kind of attitude do I take towards people so that people like me as a streamer? And it's like when you look at it from like as time went on, basically, I started to realize that it's just like it doesn't really fucking matter, really. It's more of a matter of like what I actually believe in more than agreeing with the public about certain things, because it's like I have my personal opinions about certain things. And it's like and it is because like I tend to be into the more compassionate side of things, but also compassionate and disciplined side of things, ironically, because like I want to discipline people because of the fact that I did not discipline myself back in the day to get the things that I wanted, basically. It's kind of like a reflection to be like, yeah, I'm trying to discipline people so that they don't go through 10 wasted years of nothing where they could have used their time a little bit better and just study and to create better things for your time, basically. Like for example, like sometimes I think to myself that it's like, dude, what if I actually like had enough time to actually make like a video game myself? What if I made the visual novel that I wanted to make a long time ago? What if I actually studied Japanese? What if I got into that study program? What if I actually studied something meaningful? And it's like sometimes the funny thing is like the what ifs really cannot exist because they did not exist back then. Back then, the what ifs didn't even exist because there was nobody to listen to me, actually. Back then it didn't feel like I had a personal interaction with anybody. Back then it was just like, yeah, well, I'm just a nihilist, I'm just a hedonist, and I don't care, basically. I don't care what people tell me, what I'm supposed to obey, what I'm supposed to listen, because like I know the writing in the wall, and you're just trying to force people into believing shit that nobody actually believes, because you want to be the king of the king of your ground, basically. And it's like when I saw the writing in the wall, I was like, yeah, no, there's no point. There's no point for me at this time. There's no point of actually me pursuing anything, if anything. Like there's no motivation for me to go into the world and try to study something, because there's no shoulder that I can go towards. There's no motivation. Everybody's hating Mexicans, so therefore I kind of have to just self-defend myself. I kind of have to just enjoy the ride that we're getting hated from for some reason, for some reasons basically. I was like to some level, I kind of had to basically back in the day when things were going south, where I was like, yeah, things are going shit over here. What am I gonna say? Hey, you're right. I'm gonna get killed in the process. Hell, I almost get killed even now for even having an opinion, basically. And it's like, yeah, it kind of shows the kind of attitude that a lot of people kind of take sometimes. We're like, even if you have, sometimes having an opinion is a terrible thing, really, for like a lot of people. And yeah, that's kind of the thing when it comes to like the world in general, of what the internet kind of became after 2015, 2016, where like everybody was just fighting each other for whatever reason. And I was like, yeah, I don't want to take part of it. Like, I know what is happening. I know people are going to get shoved as cannonballs. I know people are gonna treat each other as a scapegoat. I know that you're gonna force people into behaving in a particular way. I know that there are gonna be sacrifices. So I'm not gonna play that little game that the world is playing, basically. And I didn't. I was like, fuck the world. The world can burn as far as I'm concerned, because they kind of like are generalizing too much bullshit. And because they're generalizing so much bullshit, why am I gonna get caught up in that fire of stupidity? There's no point. And yeah, I kind of did until I just didn't anymore, basically. It's like, for some fucking reason, that dream of becoming a streamer bloomed into me for whatever reason. And I continued becoming a streamer because deep down, I really wanted to try it out, basically. I was like, yeah, I want to become a streamer. I want to be an entertainer to some level. I want to enjoy what it means to be like some kind of media person. I want to feel what it feels to be to be in this kind of situation, basically. And ironically, I found purpose in this to some level. I kind of did find purpose in this kind of thing. So that's kind of the thing a little bit, is like, I finally found my purpose, and I kind of had to fight myself out of like tough situations because of some stupid reason. I decided to have this to be my purpose of living to some level. Really, it's like, it's kind of weird to think about it. It's like, I never had this dream until something happened, and when that thing happened, I suddenly have a dream. I suddenly stop being nihilistic. I suddenly want to be disciplined. I suddenly want to stream every day. I suddenly want to be entertaining. I suddenly want to do all these things. And suddenly I feel like a very colorful person that wants to make better things. And I want to put a footprint into the world to some level. And that's kind of the thing, really. It's kind of weird if you think about it from that perspective, that the world is the world because too many people gave up, basically. Too many fucking people gave up onto the world. They didn't want to live their existence that was given to them. And they wanted to live the hedonistic cycle that the internet provided to them to some level, basically. The world wanted to continue that, but the world kind of like went against it, and sometimes even forced people to get out of the hole, basically. And it's like, yeah, well, that's kind of the thing, isn't it? It's like, sometimes just the world is too difficult to kind of like deal with it, and just don't know what to do exactly until your buttons get pushed and you get to do exactly the same thing that you wanted to do, but didn't have the courage to do it from the very beginning, basically. So yeah, parts of me on my subconscious a little bit, I kind of end up just being like, hey, yeah, sure, like it doesn't matter, basically. Like, well, it does matter to me, and that's the only thing that matters, basically. Like, in some level, I had to stop caring about others and think about myself first. And that was because, like, yeah, like there were some people that were like, yeah, you have to think for yourself first. somebody had to tell you that you have to think to yourself. And at some point, as the world was collapsing onto my brain, I kind of realized, yeah, I have to think to myself, basically. And sometimes that's kind of like the only thing, the only word or the phrase that you can that kind of like sticks in your brain, basically. And you're like, yeah, you kind of have to think to yourself, basically. We're like, if you don't, the world is gonna eat you, and they're gonna force you into thinking something that you're not, basically. So that's kind of the thing a little bit. It's kind of like, it's difficult. It's very difficult to have confidence in a world where they tell you that you shouldn't have personality, that you shouldn't have individuality, that everybody's equal, and that there's no reason for you to be different, basically. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit, where yeah, it becomes very, very necessary to, from time to time, you really have to be Prometheus, basically. You kind of have to. Is it gonna stab you in the guts at some point because the flame that you lit up is too strong, that it's kind of like backfiring in some shape or form against your ideal worldview? And it's like, yeah, the same way that it will probably stab me in the guts whenever I lit up too many torches and it's backfiring onto me to some level. Like, part of me, I'm kind of thinking of myself that is like, am I being Prometheus by doing this? To some people, probably. I probably am being Prometheus. I'm probably being the Titan, giving them the fire of the enlightenment for the lives, maybe. And that enlightenment might not be create the world that I want to see, basically. But if I don't do it, nobody's gonna do it, basically. If I don't do it, the world will continue to be as stupid as it has been for the longest time, basically. Like, like there's no winning. Like, I can lose where I never attempted to do anything. I can lose. I can destroy the world if I never do anything. Or I can try something, maybe get hurt along the process, but gain maybe something at the end of the day, and it's like, it will be worth it at that point. It doesn't mean that you will get injured. Yeah, probably. Probably you will get injured. Really. You will I will get injured. I will continue getting injured at some point. But it's like, if I don't do it, nobody else is gonna do it. If I don't do it, if my brain doesn't do it, nobody's gonna do it for me. Nobody's gonna do my will onto other people. They're gonna do their will. They're not gonna do my will. They're gonna do their will. And it's kind of like, yeah, it's like, if an American is gonna tell the world that the Mexicans are the worst people on earth, they're gonna do their will. If I stand up and be like, hey, not every individual is exactly as you say, it's like, well, that's kind of my will. And that's the only thing that I can do, basically. Really. Because, like, that's the only thing that I can do, basically. I was like, yeah, to some level, I kind of have to be willing to take wounds, to take injuries constantly. I have to, like, okay, what is it called? Majolica? Majolica. No. What is it? No. The uh through speaking. Uh, Sorry about that. I don't know how to translate it in English, but I was reading into my book, basically, where I was like, oh yeah, well, you kind of find the truth through conversation, basically, where or yeah, to some level, you kind of have to end up building a philosophy out of the conversations that you have with people sometimes. And yeah, it's the only way that you can actually like sometimes stand up to yourself and get the right thing going, basically for you, the individual. And it's like that's kind of the thing, really. That if you think about it, that's probably the reason why the world doesn't have a very human design. If you think about it, if you think about the consequences of why the world had so many technocrats making a lot of inhuman designs, we kind of have to realize a little bit that maybe the reason why that is because we didn't even have an exercise to socialize with other people. Basically, we didn't have the conversation to ask people, "Hey, do you think that this is a very human design?" I was like, "No, it's okay. We're technocrats. We can do whatever the fuck we want. We don't need to ask other people. We know that we are the smart people and that we'll get the right thing going because we know what we're doing." And it's like when you think about it from that perspective, it's like you kind of understand why certain things don't actually work. In modernity, it feels like a lot of things are collapsing always, all the time. Why there's so many nervous breakdowns about people like not getting the right treatment, basically. Why they're not getting the right attention, and the reason why that is because like they're not talking to people that need the treatment, basically. If you think about it. And yeah, to some level, I kind of have to be a little bit empathetic and be like, I have to be empathetic enough to be like, and this is the tragedy about human nature, basically, where I try to be empathetic to every circle of humanity to some level, really. And what I found was madness. And then I realized if this is what humanity is made of, if humanity is made of madness, are we truly saying that humanity is in a stable emotional state? I was like, no, probably because their madness to get the right person is a manifestation of their anxiety. It's a manifestation of anxiety. It's a manifestation of pain and agony within the individual. A selfish act in its own way to manipulate and destroy the individual. It is a reflection of the inner pain that the individual is going through. And when you look at it from that perspective, from the perspective of the healer, I kind of have to be a little bit. I kind of would prefer, like in some shape or form, I prefer to take the agony of the entire world and take every hit to some level, basically, to kind of understand what is actually happening. I was like, the more that I kind of understand what's actually happening, the more I kind of realize there's like, yeah, certain things that people say that they're for acceptance, they're not for acceptance, they're for punishment, basically. This kind of whole idealistic world of acceptance and tolerance is the surface, but in reality, when it actually happens with certain things, it's like, yeah, people sometimes say these kind of things because they think that they're punishment themselves, and they sell it as a tolerant with a tolerant attitude, basically, which is kind of like the most hypocritical aspect of humanity, and the reason why humanity is going through an anxiety-inducing, head-breaking era of self-destruction, basically. And that's kind of the thing a little bit. It's like, why does that happen? Why, I wonder. I was like, once I kind of once I kind of like removed my prejudice, I removed my prejudice, assuming that humanity was doing things for a because they're reasonable. Think about this from my perspective, basically. Back in the day, I assumed that every action that humans take has a reasonable, there's some reason in every, well, how to put it? There's a reason every human being takes an action, and because there's reason within it, he must be reasonable by nature. I thought of that. I thought of the individual that he took action because of his reason. And to some level they do. But it's not necessarily a very stable or rational decision most of the time. And my assumption that everybody was stable and rational always made me the biggest fool the world has ever seen. Because now that I know that sometimes people do things because they are capable of doing so and because they can do so, once I kind of understood that thought into my brain, that charitative worldview of saying I wish to cure the entire world vanished, because it makes me realize that it's like, if they can do things because they can, is there any reason for me to be the healing father of everything that wants to get you happy in this existence? And it's like, to some level, I kind of have to be a little bit rational and be like, if I do that to the person that wants my pain and agony to be their reward to the point of death, really, I'm going to end up dying in the process. I'm going to be the sacrifice for their own better good. I'm gonna be the animal for the rightful for the rightful pig, basically. The pig wants to sacrifice the right animal, and he will get so, and my sacrifice will, in the logic of the pig, I will be happy to be sacrificed, and the pig will eat me alive as he does so, basically. And when I realized that that was really what was happening when it comes to like when it comes to like the loving aspect of things, it's when I kind of realized that I was like, okay, maybe it's kind of like a really stupid idea to offer my pain as suffering as a sacrifice for the world, because they will inevitably, they're going to ask for my death as the final offering, as the rightful, like, as the most delicious offering for the person who needs a psychic healing, basically, really. Because in one head, the death of a Mexican is going to be their healing factor. To one individual, the death of all Mexicans is going to be their healing factor. The death of all British people is going to be another person's healing factor. The death of all Americans is going to be another person's healing factor. The death of all Japanese is going to be another person's healing factor. The death of all Chinese, and so on and so on. So, to some level, I kind of have to be a little bit more understanding of the situation and be like, no, people do things because they can, and sometimes you cannot offer the psychic healing that all people want if it implies to sacrifice things that shouldn't be sacrificed to begin with. Really, maybe grabbing a chopper and firing a bunch of people below you is not the right cure for your psychic needs. Maybe it isn't. Maybe that's kind of a problem. Maybe there's a deeper problem that we need to work with before we start talking about sacrifices of that magnitude, basically. Maybe we need to start unveiling what is truly the cause of all things, and maybe we need to get into a deeper aspect of your emotional stability before we start speaking about shooting people off from a helicopter or something, or throwing people out of a helicopter like an insane person, basically. Because there's there's the hunter mentality. There's the aspect of honoring a kill, really. It's like, if you're a hunter and you hunt some game, the most honorable thing as a hunter is to honor the life that you just took. Use the horns for something, use the bones for something, use the meat for survival. Use everything so you appreciate what the life actually meant to some level, basically. Which, in my honest opinion, if it was my will, I would have been like, yeah, please don't kill people, don't kill animals, basically, especially not people, basically. And that's kind of the thing a little bit, where I kind of like stand a little bit thinking that it's like, there's no necessity to throw a human being off of a helicopter for the sake of your psychic healing. Because at that point, we're talking about we're talking about a mental cycle that invites cruelty. We're talking about a mental cycle that invites destruction. We're asking for a mental cycle that invites a continuous destruction of humanity onto its own. An endless bloodthirsty hunger that is only there to satisfy the brains of those who are capable of witnessing the chaos itself. And if that is the case, then maybe the problem isn't the world. The problem is you at that point. The problem is actually you. Because now we're talking about a conflict, a psychological conflict that needs to be healed at some point, basically. We need to start talking about frustrations that are inside of your brain that are kind of like probably being the cause of all of these kind of agony, basically. So yeah, to some level, I kind of have to put my foot down and be like, there's no need to step on humanity because you didn't get because you wish to get some psychic healing out of it. There's no need for that. If you're gonna do it, there's a coliseum for it. Don't be dishonorable about it, but there's coliseums in life for you to do that. So yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit. Where certain things really do need some level of control and self-restraint, basically. So some level of balance and consuming the things that you need to eat in order for you to survive, basically. The right food for the soul, the right food for the mind, right food for the heart, and not to take too much of it to the point that you will inevitably become the monster that you envisioned that you were fighting at the beginning of your quest. You were fighting the Hydra that kept growing heads as you kept cutting them, but now you find yourself being the Hydra that keeps growing heads no matter how many times you stab them. You were Achilles, now you are the Hydra. You were Prometheus, now you're just a common beast man. And it's like, yeah, that's kind of the thing a little bit. It's a complex thing. It's a complex issue. And nobody's going to solve it. Because honorable medals, they don't really do much, basically. If the reality is as twisted as it is, honorable medals mean nothing. Golden plates mean nothing. You can have a general with 1,000 plates on top of your chest. But if all the bullshit that you promote and say don't really mean anything in the real world, Are you actually looking at medals, or are you actually just looking at a bunch of worthless colored plates of metal that nobody gives a shit about? Not even yourself, apparently. Because if you don't actually believe in the values that you've been promoting, those medals that you have mean absolutely fucking nothing. So yeah, to some level, I'm gonna leave it at that, and leave it for next stream, which is gonna be Saturday. Saturday, we're gonna continue Danganronpa stream. We're gonna get the trial to find out who killed Ryoma, basically. So look forward to that. And anyway, this is gonna be it for me. Thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate you. I'll see you tomorrow on the Spanish channel. Until then, have a good one. Bye bye.